Two silver spoons together. You and no, I'm not even going to try to hit that note, but I'm just hyped up on coffee at this moment in time. It is currently 5:44 on the February 14th of 2025. Happy Valentine's Day to those directly out there. This is pretty much a later live stream because I would normally probably stream around the morning to the afternoon when daylight is happening, but I decided to do it a little bit later, collect a few more videos. So here we are. So let's just get started on the first video.
Kendrick, I love the fact that being a hater can end up being a success. But this performance, I just thought it was really mediocre for me. Maybe because I'm not a hardcore Kendrick fan. There was a lot of the songs that I didn't know. I knew some of the mainstream ones. Like when SZA came, I was like, yes, twin. The rest of them, I don't know. I thought the visuals was amazing. We had Samuel Jackson come on as Uncle Tom, and then obviously the dancers came and the American flag, and then obviously he performed They're Not Like Us. I just thought it was an okay performance. There are a lot of people on the internet who are like, oh my God, you just didn't understand. One thing I cannot stand is fake deepness. I come to watch the Super Bowl to watch a performance. I didn't come to think. I don't want to feel like I'm reading a book. So when I'm seeing, oh, but you did not understand the allegoric significance of when the dancers were wearing blue, and the blue means it signifies the sadness of the American like, I just want to dance. I don't want to watch a performance and then have to read a book to understand what the performance was about, okay?
Okay, so this is clear cut where we are at this moment in time. We got another individual from the UK, and I just want to note that this woman here, I'm looking at some aesthetics here. I'm not looking at UK attire. I'm just looking at the aesthetics of something that I've normally seen when it deals with Black American women. I'm just going to start that off from the hair and everything else, right? And she stated one very important, clear-cut key detail, which I feel a lot of those that are outside of Black America or others that are clear-cut, if you don't get away from that bag, thank you, or others that are in America are highly conservative, right? A lot of people don't want anything where it forces them to think, where they have to specifically think or try to figure out certain things. Like a lot of people don't want that. A lot of people just want to dance, they want to jam, they want to vibe, they just want it to be that. And that's what I tried to tell a lot of people before when it deals with that type of sleep. A lot of people would rather be asleep, like her. She would rather be asleep versus actually learn, versus actually have to identify something. Again, she's from the UK. At least from everything that I'm able to understand and looking at how those in the UK happen to move and speak, I don't hear them talking anything about history, because I'm guessing that it's just the UK. I guess that's just it. I'm not even sure what the history topics they would even have to realistically learn. Obviously, more than likely has nothing to do with them, of no significance, so they don't really care. Right. So if there's not significant in that history at all, if they're not being shown off or any of those things, when it deals with Black Americans in their fight, their plight, what it is that they have to put up with and go through in the United States, they're like, well, I'm not trying to hear none of this. I don't really care. Right. And that's what tends to happen when it is that other people are told that exact same thing. They're like, well, if nobody cares about my history, I'm not really taught that history. Why am I going to care if, what Black Americans have to go through, what it is that, they face, what it is that they're trying to identify, or the messages that they're trying to specifically put out in order to, quote unquote, awaken, right, people directly out there. And this is what we have here. And a lot of people like to also state that Black Americans like to try to separate themselves from others directly out there, when realistically, it's not us. It's not us. Every time I go online, this is what I happen to see all day, every day. But let's continue.
Halftime show. Did you like that?
Bro, I couldn't understand a word that was being said, man. I had my volume turned up. I had a bunch of people yelling and screaming at the house, and I really didn't know what was going on, man. I was waiting for Willie Nelson to come out, man, and sing "America the Beautiful" or something.
I think next year, now that Trump's president, we have someone like Willie Nelson at halftime. That's what Hulk wants?
Well, that would be great.
So we got Mr. True American for all of the Hulkamaniacs, the 20,000 Hulkamaniacs directly out there. He himself being a quote-unquote Italian. And he said that, you know, I had this turn. And again, this is a representation of white America. He was like, hey, I had my TV turned all the way up, and I couldn't understand any of that mumbo jumbo ghetto slang that was happening, you know, directly on the screen. I was looking for a white artist to come save the day, because this bliggity bliggity black I don't know what any of this stuff is about. It was blinding. It was too bright. It didn't understand. It was too ghettofied, right? And it was like, yeah, give me something like Willie Nelson. Give me a white artist. And this is what a lot of white Americans online, especially on TikTok, have stated. They stated that this was just, it didn't make any type of sense. They don't understand it. They don't know what it was supposed to mean, what it was supposed to signify, what message was it specifically giving. Again, it was just too black. And this also goes to show that if there's things out there that they can't see themselves in, or that they can't necessarily identify with, then it's negative. It's a no-go, and it's anti-America, anti-white, right? But if they would have gave another black artist, right, that was just rapping and dancing, you know, and talking loud, everybody would have been completely fine. White people would have been dancing, barely knowing the words, just mumbling, just drunkly dancing out there in the crowd. Yeah, I love this artist. That's my favorite artist. What song is this again? Right, it would have been that type of deal. Everybody would have loved it all across America. Of course, some people would have hated it, but the greater majority would have actually loved it, because they wouldn't have to think. It's just a party. It's just a celebration. It's just a song to just do. Right? Again, a song to keep people distracted versus a song that was put specifically out there in a presentation, a performance that was put out there to send a message, to have those out there think. And those who didn't want to think, they're, you know, still asleep, or they just, hamster just fell directly off of the wheel and was looking for directions. Right? Shout out to Hulk Hogan, aka I'm racist to a point. Let's continue.
I don't know who the need to hear this, but it need to be said. I don't give a your color. I don't give a damn if you black, white, Asian, Puerto Rican, Mexican. I don't give a damn. You cannot ask for inclusion but continue to create segregation. How that's gonna work? If you want an all-white nation, take your ass somewhere where it ain't nothing but white people. Iceland, or wherever the Vikings come from. If you want an all-black nation, take your ass to Africa. There's plenty of us over there, and it's a bunch of them. You ain't never got to see a white person another day in your life.
It's actually a lie.
Mexicans, if you don't like black and white people, take your back to Mexico. Just go back. But over here in America, we rock together. We ain't got no choice but to rock together. We ain't got a choice. So we might as well find a way to get along and stop all this goddamn separation and this segregation and all that. We ain't got no goddamn choice but to like each other, man. Damn, stop all the hate. Stop all the separation. Stop all the, just stop. Just stop. One nation under God. Do we need to go back? Do we need to go back? God damn.
And you know, the funniest thing directly about this, you know, he's, you know, talking about stop the segregation and all of this other type of stuff. But this is how America was built. This is within the fabric of America. This is, again, why I stated before, history is very important. Right. And he's like, you know, black and white people in America, we don't got no choice but to rock together. Black, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. You'll sit up there and have, you know, some people somewhere that might be able to be okay. Yeah, you might have some people out there that might be able to be okay, but that's not the greater majority in America. If you look at a lot of the states and the towns, black people are not 100% everywhere across the United States. You got some areas in the United States where black people are 0.01% of the population. 0.01% of the population. So I'm a little bit confused, and I guess he might have forgot about sundown towns of old and the ones that still exist today, of which you don't have black people living in those areas. And the black people around those areas, they know. You still got other areas, especially down south, of which black people know not to go there. They know not to set foot. They know not to sit up there and move there. You know, just to sit up there and traverse, and that is it. That's the only thing that you're going to sit up there and do. No more, no less. And if you decide to go there, you got a few minutes. And that's all you got. Like, and the funniest thing about looking at his comment on social media was the fact that it was obviously one group of people that loved his message. Only one group of people. And it happens like this all the time. All the time. Whenever there's somebody black and they just so happen to talk just like this, where they're like, we're going to forego history, forget about all of that, forget about anything that's going on in the present, we're all equal, God's children, band together, all this other type of good stuff. And I'm like, word. So forget all of the laws, forget all of the transgressions, forget all the incarcerations, forget the fact that for the longest time possible in the United States that black men were solely targeted for marijuana possession, and how it is that they were made to pay for that transgression by way of having to serve time in jails and prisons for an exorbitant amount of time. And then lo and behold, they sit up there and make laws where now they legalize marijuana. And now, not just legalizing marijuana, you can sit up there and get land and you can grow it. And not only that, you could also open up a business. And the main ones to sit up there and profit from that were the white boys. They were the first ones to profit from it and still profiting from it still to this day the most. But what about all of those black men that are still locked up for those marijuana charges? Are they going to get released? Because they're nonviolent. They didn't do anything wrong. And especially if marijuana is legalized now, realistically, you should release them because they shouldn't have to finish any more of their time. Like, it's legal now. That time is now done. that time is now done. If you were made to sit up there and serve like 10 years, bam, they legalized it. All right, as soon as it was legalized, you're out. That's it. But they can't do that because they need the money off of those bodies. They need the energy directly off of those cells because you are that battery. AKA the black men that are locked up at this moment in time in jails and prisons. You are that money. The same way I sit up there and tell a lot of people in America that, hey, the school system makes thousands upon thousands of dollars from your kids where you make nothing. The same exact thing when you end up in those jails and prisons. Everybody else makes money off of you but you. And I'm like, nobody sees a problem with that? Nobody? I guess it's just me. But, like you said before, everybody needs to, get along. Kumbaya, my Lord. That's, let's continue. And we're going to go right back to the UK. Shout out to the UK.
To be a nation of Caucasian heritage people. Just like if I go to Saudi Arabia, I want to see Saudi Arabians. If I went to China, I see China. England's in what, 10, 20 years time is not going to be Anglo-Saxon Caucasian heritage anymore. Going to be people who look like me, and that's not going to be a good thing.
Why isn't it a good thing?
Because they're going to be bringing in an inferior culture.
What do you do to stop the small boats?
I would militarize it. I'd tell the military nobody lands on the beach. Get the military to stop it, and I'm sure they could.
How do you think they go about stopping it, though?
No boat lands on the beach. No boats would land on the beach.
Does that mean sinking?
Whatever's necessary.
If there's like kids, women on the small boats, they should still be sunk?
No boats would land on the beach.
So all the all those that are out there, right? Let me just pause it right there. Caucasian heritage. So I'm guessing, because this is not a black American, you have this African gentleman or this gentleman maybe from the islands, I'm not sure. But you can obviously tell that he has an accent, right? And he's stating that he doesn't even want his own people to bring their culture to that land. He's basically saying, in comparison to the Europeans that are directly there, everything else that is not of the European standard is subpar, is below. even his own culture. If you want to take a further of a deep dive, he's even saying he himself, who is there, who is able to strive, make a way, a living, and a job, he is below the Europeans. This is what self-hatred looks like. And then he's stating that, hey, y'all need to stop allowing these immigrants to come directly over there. And the guy asked him, he was like, so how do you feel like the military will stop them? How would you sit up there and stop them? He was like, no boats allowed on land. So he was like, well, so what would they do? Even if there's like women and children directly on those boats, no boats allowed on land. He was like, so what do you think they should do? Do you think that they should just like sink them? He was like, no boats allowed on the land. He would be willing to sacrifice his own people, his own family, to make sure that they don't come directly over there to the United Kingdom, because he himself and his culture are subpar and below the Europeans. This is what brainwashing looks like. This is what self-hatred looks like. This is what that type of ideology and that indoctrination looks like. And this is over there. So again, going back to the first video that I showed y'all where the girl from the UK was sitting up there talking about, oh, Kendrick and the performance, it was subpar, whatnot, whatever. I just wanted to dance. I just wanted to vibe. I just wanted to do other things other than have to open up a book. She felt as though that was such a college level type of blackety black performance that she needed to go study. That's how washed a lot of people are out here mentally from a lot of social media. They're so brain rotten and washed that they can't even look at a performance and just see some stuff just on the surface level. It's too much hard work. It's too much energy. You got to spend too much time thinking. Like I said, a lot of people are just stupid. Just like this one here, another one from the UK. Woo, diabolical work. Diabolical work. So I want people to understand that when it is that I happen to see comments out here, and especially on Twitter, when people are like, oh, why is it that the Black Americans are trying to separate themselves from everybody else? We're not trying to separate ourselves from anybody else. Maybe at this point. We're trying to make sure that people know a difference, just like everybody else has made sure that everybody else knew that there was a difference from Black Americans and Jamaicans and Africans and others from the islands and so on and so on and so on, right? Everybody else made sure to know that there is a difference, right? And like I said, you got one of your own that is hoping that the military brings harm directly to you, even if it's women and children directly on those boats. Don't come over here to this European nation. The Europeans need to stay and rule. The Europeans need to be here. Anything else that is going to try to take over or come at in, it is subpar. It doesn't need to be added. It needs to be Anglo-Saxon. That's exactly what he said. That's some diabolical work right there. Diabolical. Wow. Crazy work there. But like I said before, this is what happens when you don't know your own history, you don't know your own culture, or you don't love your own history and or your culture. It's crazy work. Crazy work. Let's continue.
I done seen everything. Apparently, Native Americans might not be American citizens. And this is according to the latest news from multiple news outlets. You can Google it yourself. But essentially, there's the group of people that are trying to do whatever they're trying to do. And the first point of attack is to illegitimize Native Americans from being Americans. So yeah, there's that. And happy Friday. Or something.
It'd be like that. As a Black American, I just want to sit up there and say shout out to all of those who voted against their own best interests. They voted for other reasons because they felt that they were better than, or that they fit directly in, or they, the illusion of inclusion. Shout out to all of those individuals out there, no matter what race, color, creed, religion, no matter what your background is. Shout out and much love and appreciation to you, because of you, a lot of people are now realizing that there is no security. Because of the voting, people are soon enough going to wake up like what they did 5 years ago. And there's going to be no way to open up the Coliseum because the Coliseum is already open. So, they would, in a sense, have to come up with a bigger distraction. I'm not sure what that's going to be at this moment in time, but depending on how far this goes and how many people are actually paying attention, it's going to be a very big distraction. Very big distraction. But like I said, shout out to those out there who voted against themselves, who voted to, get rid of their own people, to deport their own people, to, try to uproot their own people who were paying bills here. They were paying taxes. They were building businesses. They were, doing great things in neighborhoods and different industries. And now everybody has to suffer. And again, this is something that you can't specifically blame on Black Americans at all, because Trump came out and told people who specifically voted for him. The polls and the statistics showed who specifically voted for him. So this is why you're going to have a lot of people actually being quiet when it deals with who is to blame for any of the situations that are transpiring, taking place, because they can't turn around and blame Black people, nor are any of these people going to turn around and decide to blame white people. So there you go. Nothing but silence. Nothing but silence. It's crazy. It's diabolical work. Let's continue.
It's interesting. There's always a comment like this whenever I talk about racism, always. If you don't like it, then go back home. Like, oh, okay. So maybe I'll take this time to just introduce myself. I was born in Kenya and lived there till I was 12. And then I moved to Ireland, when I was 12, and had been on the island of Ireland, until now. I moved to the north of Ireland, and in 2014 when I married a Northern Irish guy. I've been on the island of Ireland longer than I've been anywhere else. We did live in Michigan for about 3.5 years, and then we came back. But yeah, when we own a home, we contribute and pay taxes. We have children in school. We're not criminals. So this is home for the foreseeable future. Like, this is home, and if you don't like it, like, just be quiet. Just don't throw around racial slurs, and just don't be an awful human being. And I know this is hard because racism is rooted in narcissism, which means that a lot of racist people are narcissistic. I'll do a video on that. But yeah, anyway, like, if you can't be nice, just be quiet. That's all.
So we heard that, right? She married her significant other who she loves, right? And she moved from place to place. I think she said originally she's from Kenya. At one point in time, she said that she ended up moving to Michigan. I'm like, that's a journey. I'm like, how did you get all the way to Michigan? I'm like, out of all places, why Michigan? I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, so you got California, you got, New York, you got down south. You was just like, Michigan, right? Then somehow she went from Michigan all the way to Ireland. I'm like, that's an even further extent. I'm like, you're just skipping all the way across, the globe for whatever reason. And now that's where she resides, and, for the time being. And when she wanted to talk about and bring up the racism that takes place, like most Caucasians would like to say, oh, if you don't like it, go back home. Why do you always have to bring up race? Why do you always have to bring up problems? Why do you have to always start things? A lot of people that are racist like to always make the other person pointing out the problem or pointing out the racism. They want to make them the problem. But because they feel that the racism or how it is that they talk or speak is not problematic, but the person pointing it out is the problem, right? As if to say that, I wouldn't be racist if you weren't here. I wouldn't be racist if I couldn't identify you. I couldn't, or I wouldn't be considered racist if you didn't point it out. Instead of actually fixing the problem, instead of actually fixing themselves or, the way that they think and, other people, this is where we are. where it's always that, well, you can go back home. Case in point, you'll have a lot of white Americans that always want to sit up there and say that, oh, well, you blacks here in America always want to talk about racism. Why don't you go to Africa? There's a lot of black people there. Why don't you go to Africa? Well, why don't y'all leave? How about that one? Why don't y'all leave Africa? Because it's crazy to sit up and see white Americans telling black people here in America to go back to Africa when they don't even want to go back to Europe. Better yet, Europeans don't even really want to accept them at all because they got rid of them. So they choose to, go everywhere else. And like I said, I'm like, you're American. You live in a first world country. You come from, quote unquote, the greatest of the greatest, areas. But you decide to go to Africa and you want a vacation there, even though y'all the main ones that sit up there and say that there's nothing in Africa. There's nothing but mud huts. There's nothing but ghettos and shanties and all this other type of stuff. So why would you vacation in an area that is, quote unquote, subpar and poor? And why wouldn't you go to great Europe? See the structures, your heritage, and all of this other type of stuff. Crazy work. It's diabolical work. And then on top of that, every single time I happen to see, quote unquote, a lot of these Americans that want to sit up there and talk, they always happen to adopt a child from Africa. You never hear them talking about trying to adopt some random Russian or European child on the streets or from a European orphanage. Like, that's the weirdest thing to me. Like, you don't even want to adopt your own kids. The same way that they always like to try to talk about black people. Oh, you guys don't even want to sit up there and adopt your own kids. So, it's everybody else that has to sit up there and adopt them. No, you don't even want to adopt all the abandoned kids that's over there in Europe. Abandoned kids that's over there in Australia. And so on and so on and so on. Y'all don't even want to sit up here and do that because you can't use them as an accessory to prove that you're not racist, to prove, against whatever narrative is directly out there. So what do you guys happen to do? Oh, I'm going to adopt an African kid. I'm going to show the world how good I am, how good we are. And we're going to adopt these African kids that obviously nobody wants. Okay. It's crazy. Uh-oh. You said if your response is to tell white people to go back to Europe, you have become that which you hate. The funny thing is, so in where at any point in time did it state that I hated anybody? See how that projection works, class? See how that works? When somebody wants to roll up and they want to try to project something that they internally have in themselves, and they want to try to showcase something. It's like, if you're telling white people to go back to Europe, you're the same as the ones that hate you. I never said I hated anybody. Because the funny thing is, when I showcased the video of the young black gentleman that was sitting up there telling people that if they didn't like America, if they didn't want to be around a certain segment or a group or a population, then they can go back to where it is that they can come from, right? That's clearly what the young black man stated. And the funny thing about that is, I saw nothing but white Americans underneath the comment section under that video saying, like, I love his message. Like, we as Americans, we got to stick together. If you don't like America, yada yada yada, then you can just sit up here and get out of here. All this other type of stuff, yada yada yada. I don't see color, da 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 da. It's crazy work, though. It's crazy work. I'm just curious of your definition of racism. How much actual history of America do you know or have an understanding of? I'm just curious because I don't really have to give you my definition. We can just go over the rules, the laws, and the regulations that the United States themselves, the government themselves, enacted to go against black Americans because of the color of their skin. We can, go over. Matter of fact, let me see something. Let me see something real quick. Let me see if I can read something real quick. So let me see. Where do I want to start from? What part do I want to go for? I think I might have actually found it. Yep, 127. Let me go back here. Conditions of the father, conditions. So let me just show you a little bit of just a hint, right? Since you said you wanted to know my definition of racism, and this is taken from a book, right? Let me try to paraphrase this so YouTube won't have a problem. This is just a quote here. They said, to be a man and not to be a man, a father without authority, a husband and no protector, is the darkest of fates. Such was the condition of my father, and such is the condition of every slave throughout the United States. He owns nothing. He can claim nothing. His wife is not his. His children are not his. They can be taken from him and sold any minute, as far away from each other as the human fleshmonger may see fit to carry them. So again, I want you to understand that you have Black Americans that were slaves, which means that they were property of another human being in the United States legally. And even if that Black American male had a wife that they were married and they had kids, they specifically stated that even though that is your wife, y'all got married and y'all have kids, she is not yours. She is mine. I have ownership over her. Even though you and your wife, the wife that I own, even though she's your wife, y'all got married, I own her. The kids that you have are not yours, are not hers. They are mine. Tell me, for anybody that want to decide to try to question me on racism and all this other type of stuff, tell me where in American history have Black Americans ever been able to do that to white Americans, where we automatically threw y'all in slavery and we separated you from your wife, from your kids, and we threw them all over the United States. And not only that, but we also, took your wife and then we made sub-families, subgroups. And then we also forced them to sit up there and work as well. And then we separated them by color. So if the lighter you are, the closer you were to the house, if not already in the house. The darker you were, the farther you were from the house and the more you were in the field. So somebody wanted to list the Barbary slave trade. I said in America. I clearly said in the United States. Stephen Collins, like, this guy is talking about the 1% of the population who are in that position. The funny thing is that you guys always want to talk about like a 1% as if to say that everybody else had no type of hand in anything. What? That's some crazy work. The crazy part is it's 1% that is literally ruling over your people right now. But the rest of your population are accommodating the ruling class. How about that one, Stephen? Since you want to sit up there and talk about the 1% so much, how about that one? How is it possible, Stephen, that your grouping of people who supposedly your forefathers, all this other type of stuff, right? Y'all freed yourselves from the United Kingdom, right? The grasp. Y'all did all that work to come directly over here to be technically free at one moment in time. But once the government really started rolling, once the systems really started getting enacted, and they did have some slaves, then the slaves were free, they were like, we can't, really use the blacks anymore. We're going to have to come up with a plan to sit up to make everybody slaves. At this moment in time, you are literally slaves. While you're trying to argue semantics about, you're talking about literally the 1%. It's the 1% that is literally ruling over you and also brainwashing you at the same time. Case in point, that same 1% are the ones that are allowing your communities to be hooked on opioids. But yet you're not saying nothing about that, though. And it's your exact same community that's buying and contributing to those exact same opioids, to the gun crimes, to the robberies, and many other things that's happening in your community. You are contributing along with accommodating all of that taking place and happening instead of doing what, Stephen? Fighting back? Instead of actually doing something about it? While you're sitting up there trying to go back and forth with me about, it was the 1%. First of all, let me just correct anybody else that's here that might want to make a mistake. This is National Black History Month. I'm not sure if anybody doesn't know what February is in the United States. If you're from anywhere else, it is what it is. you don't know nothing about America. But for anybody else that is in America, this is National Black History Month. Just to let you know. So just in case you're confused, you know. Right? Matter of fact, let me just go a little bit a step further, right? You said I'm the 1%. No, I'm not. You are obviously smoking rocks. You are obviously, you do realize that the 1% are the ones who are part of like Vanguard and BlackRock and like somewhere up there with the Vanderbergs and all, like the last names that you have never heard of. I'm talking about the several to like the 12 families out here that literally have a grasp on every single facet around the world. And you're going to sit up there and say that I'm part of that one. No, I'm nowhere even close. I'm nowhere even close. Like, what? You don't even know what you're talking about right now. What? Like, that's crazy to me. That's some diabolical. Stephen, you do realize that everybody around the world has the ability. There's kids in Thailand that are, sit up there and broadcasting. Just because I'm an American, I'm able to get on the internet. That doesn't mean anything. Everybody who has a cell phone is able to get on TikTok. Have you not noticed this? Have you not seen this? This is not the 1950s where we just got this newfangled technology where we're the only ones that can broadcast. Everybody can do it. You got people in villages in Africa. You got people that are in small tribes in the Amazon rainforest that literally have Starlink and cell phones at this moment in time. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about right here? Like, what are we sitting up there talking about right now? You said, go tell women who can't get ABs that they are the 1% because they live in America. This man says SEIJIHITO Rockefeller. Like, yo, this is crazy out here. Matter of fact, let me just go a step further because we're at National Black History Month, right? Let me so let's go with this. White abolitionists documented incidents of black children literally being boiled alive, butchered, and fed to open fires. They debated and deliberated about whether or not America was becoming a cannibal nation. Black men, though, as Jacob demonstrates, strove to convey the private effects of human consumption. Black men demonstrated how the culture of consumption robbed them of their masculinity, destroyed their familiar unit and ties, and pretended that their literal extinction of the race. Black men had good reason to worry about literal annihilation across the nation. Whites predicted that extinction of the extermination of the Negro. For example, Midwestern economist George M. Weston predicted in 1857 that, quote, when white men, artisans, and farmers want the room which the African occupies, they will take it not by rude force, but by gentle and gradual and peaceful process. The Negro will disappear. Others of the religious persuasion felt that, quote, an inherited capacity for Christian persuasion guaranteed the survival of the white race, and the lack of it condemned the Negro to extinction, where whites foresaw and depicted clean and innocent process of natural selection. Black men saw bloodshed and gluttonous consumption. So again, I'm a little bit confused at points in times when people want to decide to say some things, and to know the fact that human consumption was a thing historically in the United States, especially when it dealt with the Black American slaves. But for whatever reason, you guys don't want to go over anything like this. You guys don't want to happen to, talk about any of that. Right? Just wondering. Just wondering. Just saying. like I said before, there, you know, the way that people were just going about stuff was crazy. Mm. Let's see what else we can actually get directly into here. Let's go to this one, right? And you know, if anybody wants to support this channel, because more than likely it will, this video might have some technical difficulties and some issues, because I'm just going to read everything as is. You can clearly see the links directly above by, you know, Cashapp, Patreon, and, you know, different things of that nature if you love this content. If not, you know, just whatever. So let's go directly over this. They said, according to Orlando Patterson, sexual desires and codes of masculine honor strongly informed this culture of human consumption described by Williams. Quote, what the slave mainly fed was the master's sense of honor and his sexual appetite. After methodically butchering and cooking a male slave over a rolling open fire, one Kentucky slave master reported to his wife, quote, that he had never enjoyed himself so well at a ball as he had enjoyed himself that evening. Such incidents proliferated throughout the slave trading diaspora, especially in the Caribbean and the Americas, where carving, cooking, and eating of flesh served as punishment and conditioning rituals. Typically, masters derive feelings of pleasure and social empowerment from rituals of torture and consumption. Patterson concurred with Williams, and drawing upon analysis of slavery among, quote, primitive Germanic people, observed also that slaves were socially consumed, and that this process of consumption was an epidemic to all other slave holding societies, both before and after European global expansion. Masters received a sexual high or an erotic charge from consumptive acts. Power and sex intertwined with the slave's body, and sex serving not only the purpose of pleasure and the erotic fulfillment, but also reinforcing the master's authority, supremacy, and dominance. So again, to anybody that wants to question me on what racism directly is, or my definition of racism, go back and re-listen to what it is that I read, because at this moment in time, I can't give you an account of Black Americans literally doing this, of this taking place, us going to your towns and your cities, or other points in time where we would go to areas where you were freed men, and we would ensnare you in a trap, and we would, you know, slip something directly in your booze, and then you're in the back of a cart, and now you're across, you know, the South, and, you know, some large farm area, and now your name and everything is completely changed. Shout out to, what was it, 12 Years a Slave or something like that? I forgot which movie it was, but yeah, all of the, you know, the slave films that you know, you white folks like here in America, to relive the good old days, right? It's crazy. Diabolical work. Somebody said, what, delete facts that you don't like. I don't even know what you're talking about, because the funniest thing is my hand has actually been directly on a book. So good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. You said, do I see the messages? Yeah, I see messages directly up there. Stephen Collins is laughing, talking about you're asking for money now. If I said, if people want to support, that's, you know, that's it. That's not, you know, begging. That's putting some directly up there, because unlike you that likes to talk directly from the comment section, the multitude of different topics, some of which I know that you wouldn't actually have the balls to specifically talk about and report and put directly out there, you know, you're not going to tend to talk about those. Those are not a part of your everyday conversations. So due to the fact that a lot of stories are liabilities, or, you know, a lot of truths out there are problematic for some, including a lot of people in your community, you know, got to let people know. But it is what it is. But you know, the funniest thing is nobody said anything when Trump, a sitting president, came out with a meme coin, right? And then they came out with a meme coin for Elon, who was also in government, came out one for his wife, came out with one for his son. Isn't that technically double dipping? Isn't that technically, in a sense, asking for some type of money? Because where is that meme coin money going? You saw how the Hawk Tua girl sat up there and got y'all, right? And ain't nobody saying nothing about that. She just disappeared after she done just ran off with about $3 to $4 million. That's called a rug pull. That's what that's called. Just in case that you might not know anything about that when it deals with crypto, that's called a rug pull. Where the person that basically started it lets it reach to a certain point and they pull out all liquidity to basically leave you with nothing and leave them with everything. Matter of fact, the funniest thing about the Hawk Tour girl, in a sense, doing that, and also her being the same one that was trying to sue a black guy who, in a sense, made her famous by way of that viral video clip. Everything that she did and everything that she learned is the same thing that America does to black Americans at this moment in time, since the beginning. Yesterday and tomorrow. It's funny how that works. It's diabolical how that works. That there's like a variety of instances that you can, you know, relate from today to the past. You could talk about things historically and still, you know, point those things out. How, you know, white people can, you know, want to sue somebody that made them famous, something that they didn't, in a sense, do themselves. They just try to get everything from it once they start really getting on and yada, yada, yada. Like I said before, you got to learn from the teachers. So going back to what I said before in like some previous live streams, if at any moment in time people want to talk about, hey, black people, murder rate, crime, we learn from the best. We learn from you. Didn't you sit up there and, you know, fight your own people? Didn't you cause all different types of wars? Didn't you instigate and brown nose and you didn't know how to specifically mind your own business? Isn't that what America consistently does? Doesn't America throw people in debt while also being in debt at the same time and not knowing how to clear up and pay its own debt? Isn't that what America's doing? Robbing from everybody while enriching themselves, aka the government. And again, I'm not talking about Democrat or Republican, just in case. Just in case, not talking about Democrat or Republican. But like I said, people like what is it, Stefan, don't want to talk about actual real problems and issues and actually how to fix those. So when I, as a black American, want to talk about history or whatnot or whatever during Black History Month, somehow, some way, you guys want to sit up there and find a problem. That's diabolical work. That's crazy. As if somebody actually made you sit here and stay here. That is crazy. You a grown ass man. That's some diabolical work. But like I said, I love you guys. Love you guys. It's, you know, some magical work. But again, Stefan, you have to explain to me why is it that the men of your ilk liked to consume others, turn them into oil, turn them into leather shoes, they turn them into book casings, lampshades. They would shave off the hair of the slaves and they would put it directly into furniture, mattresses, and all of those things. Why is that? Because again, I don't have a relic of that time period where we did that to Caucasian Americans. I can't even give you one. But yet there's videos out there of old chairs that were handed down through white families. And as soon as it was time for those chairs to, you know, I guess you could say get refurbished or to get repaired, the people who normally do the chair repairs were shocked to find slave hair because it wasn't yours, right? Y'all had the brown, the brunette, the blonde hair, you know, all of that nice, you know, straight hair, the European style, right? Y'all had that angelic hair, right? This hair was coarse. It was curly. It was textured. It wasn't anything like what you could even conceive, what you could even produce. So you have to explain to me and everybody else, Stephen, why did your people do that? Why was that even a thing? But like I said, y'all don't want to talk about that, nor do you want to teach your kids anything about that either. That's quite weird. But you wanted to talk about delete the facts or whatnot or whatever, that yada yada yada, whatever, however you wanted to sit up there and frame it. That's crazy work. That's diabolical nature. Craziness. It's crazy work. Crazy. Will Williams said, seems like an inferiority complex. So before I get hype directly up here. Will Williams, who specifically are you directing it towards? Just to let me know. You know, I don't want to make any mistakes because I tend to move or shoot quote unquote indiscriminately. I don't want to make any mistakes. Don't want to make any mistakes. Let me see. I think we got some more pages I could actually decide to read from if I can find some of my highlights here. But also much love, respect, and appreciation to any and everybody that is currently here, at this moment in time. Love you guys a lot. Love you guys a lot. See what else we got here. Oh, you're talking to the what? Okay. Just making sure because I had another page set and I was already ready. Let me tell you, I was ready. I'll just keep that page for just in case another person happens to roll up, at the moment in time. Ishmael said, much love and appreciate. Let me see if I can highlight that. Let me see. Would you prefer? I got to get my reading together right now. You said, do you have a Cash App fan? Would you prefer to support you that way, knowing that YouTube takes a cut? Enjoy the content. Much love, respect, and appreciation. I usually tell people whichever way is, in a sense, easier for them. I try to, just accommodate people versus trying to, direct, because I know that sometimes, let's say if somebody's of like the older generation, they may not have, a Cash App or all of that type of stuff. So, but yeah, if you happen to have Cash App, by all means, much love, respect, and appreciation. You can also do it by way of Cash App. The Cash App is actually listed up there. It's the same name that you see, which is the $ SEIJIHITO, all caps. So again, anybody that would love to donate directly to the channel, much love, respect, and appreciation. Let me see. Mo says Stefan is in the Bermuda Triangle. Oh, y'all put him to the shadow realm? Man, I had another page loaded. I had a had another page, just load it up. Let me tell you. But let's continue on. This is something that also kicks into what a lot of other Black Americans have also stated when it deals with a lot of history and things of that nature. So let's look at that.
Lemon tree mound is what we call it.
Rosina Philippe is part of a Native American tribe that has lived in what is now Plaquemines Parish for centuries. The Atakaba Ishak Shawasha lived off the land.
There were lemon trees to be found here growing. We didn't plant them, but we found them growing here. Our people would fish, in the bay. They would come here and collect lemons and, use them as a refreshing drink.
How the trees got here is a mystery.
I think maybe a storm might have uprooted trees and they found perches here and grew. Or some people speculate maybe seeds by birds or whatever. So we don't know.
Members of the tribe were mound builders. This island, now broken in pieces, once would have towered over the surrounding landscape.
When the river was flooded, the people sought sanctuary, on the mounds.
What did this place mean to your people?
Well, it represents a place of longevity.
In these modern times, a marker that their ancestors were in this place.
These mounds, have been a part of our landscape for so many centuries, and that they were still here with us.
Generations ago, European settlers took control of the land. But like much of South Louisiana, the real estate around the Lemon Tree Mound mostly disappeared as man levied the river and altered the landscape.
Yep.
Our tribe has lost so much land, and we're losing it just about every day.
A few years ago, the Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana began working with the tribe to protect the shoreline here using recycled oyster shells. That led to a search for whoever held legal title to the land and a surprising discovery.
They had discovered that St. Paul's actually owned some property out here, which was news to us. Our records had been lost during Katrina.
Turns out a parishioner had willed the lemon tree mound to St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Lakeview in the 1980s. The former rector set out on a mission to learn the history of the land, and recently the church gave it back to the tribe.
We at the Episcopal Church have strong commitments these days to restorative justice and to creation.
This is a win, I think, for everybody. I think the church is happy about it. Obviously, the tribe is happy about it, and it is doing the right thing.
What does it mean to get it back?
Woo!
Philippe says she knows her ancestors are rejoicing.
Even some of our sister tribes, I got emails from different people saying, doing that, in the email, spelling it out, knowing that they're rejoicing and dancing with us.
We went along on that boat ride with tribal members and a couple of St. Paul's parish leaders, including Miriam Swift.
Well, it feels like a very small thing. I'm glad it feels significant to you because it feels like the very least we could do.
Swift says the church never hesitated once it knew the story of the land.
We're filled with gratitude, first of all, and we're rejoicing to be connected to the land, to be tied into the land, and to have the land returned to the tribe. It's a rematriation. So connecting the tribe back to Mother Earth is more significant, in that respect. They may think it's a little thing, but to us, it's one of the best things that the church, could ever have done. We're rejoicing. We're so very, very happy.
We're so happy to do it.
It's a very big thing.
So I'm looking at that as a very positive thing, right? And I would like to say this would probably be one of the rare few times that when something was taken from people, that it was actually given back with no problem. You didn't have to go through and have some type of lawsuit and some type of back and forth and yada, 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 all this other type of good. You didn't have to do none of that. Didn't have to do, none of that at all. Ms. Wright said, be careful. Those are Native Americans and not American Indians, AKA so-called black people. That's why she had those shades on. Like I said, I don't know why she had the shades on. When I look directly at her, I'm talking about at least skin-wise, she does not look like the quote-unquote Native Americans that I normally see or that have spoken against Black Americans. So, but again, I could be very easily wrong. I could be incorrect. Things can be possible. I'm just going specifically off of, what I can see by both of my eyes, with my pairs of bifocals on at this moment in time and, just going off of that. But the main thing that, I'm stating is, again, this is why history is important. And this is why they don't want to talk about things like this in schools, because they would have to actually admit the United States government and quote unquote white people in general would have to admit that they have very much evil and wrongdoings in history, and that they've contributed to a lot of losses, a lot of bloodshed, tears, and yada, yada, yada. A lot of things being stolen, eradicated, or erased, or made to be extinct. But they're not going to do that. They don't want to do that. They feel like, well, I'm too ashamed of looking at that. The past is going to be past. And then they have other black folks out here that are quote unquote Republicans, but they're like, yeah, you're right. The past is the past. But mind you, those same black folks out here are some of the main ones that, are waiting in the wind to get their quote unquote handout, their quote unquote treat, and yada, yada, yada. We're going to, highlight a few of those a little bit later, but let's continue to a little bit of a different video. And this is, there is really no title, but pretty much I'm going to set you up. This is a man that is shoveling his snow at about 4 o'clock in the morning, because it obviously snowed, as you can clearly see in the picture. And he had the shovel because, again, he's about to get ready to go to work. And obviously there's a multitude of cars there. So I'm pretty sure one of those cars may be his wife, and the other one may be his teenager or whatnot or whatever. So let's just listen to this nonsense.
4 o'clock in the fucking morning. morning, you're gonna shovel your fucking driveway.
Yeah, I swear to fuck work. Who are you yelling at?
4 o'clock
Who are you yelling at?
Randy, you prick, man.
Fuck you. Dude, I'm shoveling doing work.
Fuck you, suck my dumbass. Fuck you. Come out here and fucking start fucking 4 in the morning. You're a fucking idiot. This is what makes neighbors not neighborly.
Dude, you're yelling for no reason.
You fucker. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, you dirtbag.
It's 4:44.
Ooh, fucking reading my clock. You're fucking man. You're an idiot.
Go to work.
Go to work. Go to work. Yo, you're a moron.
Okay.
You're waking everybody up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
You are yelling, you weirdo.
You piece of...
You're a weirdo.
I wouldn't be out here talking to you if you weren't shoveling your...
You're a weirdo.
You piece of shit.
You're a weirdo.
You're the weirdo.
You're
You're the one shoveling your driveway at 4 a.m.
You're a weirdo.
I would just like to say that that's ridiculous. Never at any moment in time, and I'm talking about coming from Detroit, never at a moment in time have I ever seen or experienced a moment when somebody is like, yo, why are you shoveling right now? You're waking everybody up. And the craziest thing is the main person that quote unquote has a problem is the loudest person out there. That dude was actually louder than the shovel that the guy actually had. You could hear the shovel hitting the ground, but the dude yelling from down the street is acting like the guy shoveling is waking everybody else up. It's not like your echo. I'm not even there, right? I'm not even on a block, and I can feel his voice echo and ping directly off of the homes and the different, things there, because that's how loud he was, because he felt that he was so right and so entitled to his opinion. Case in point, this goes right back to what I said about America and how it is that when Europeans show up anywhere, they feel entitled to a land. They feel that any and everything that they do, that they are just right, no matter how wrong they are. And that dude was wrong. He was 1,000% wrong. The dude has to sit up there and shovel his snow so that he can properly get out, so that that snow that is directly on that slick driveway doesn't turn to ice. Because I'm not sure if people realize it or not, but if you have a certain type of concrete driveway that doesn't have any type of grip or ridges, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. As soon as ice is directly on it, it's over for you. You are slipping, you are falling, and you can't get up. Shout out to DMX. It's just not going to happen for you. It's just not going to happen. And then your car is going to be sliding directly out of that driveway. So your best bet is to get out there as early as possible. If you know that the snow has stopped, get out there, start shoveling, put down some salt. There you go. But again, you got dummies that feel like they could just, say anything because they're being disturbed. Like I said, that's crazy. I'm the type of person where I've seen my neighbors, and again, this is coming from a black guy born and raised in Detroit. Neighbors on my block, and I've sat up there and seen them shoveling. I'm like, oh, where are you shoveling? Let me hurry up and go get my coat on and my boots, and let me go help them shovel. But like I said, that's just me though. That's just the way I can't speak for everybody, because I can tell you out of my existence, that is not something that everybody does. I'm probably going to put it, not even like 1% of people would actually get up and go out there and help somebody else shovel, because a lot of people are selfish in nature. It just is what it is. Not faulting people for that, but I'm just sitting up here saying. But because, I love and respected, my neighbors directly on the block, and they were also a lot, older than me and whatnot, whatever. I'm like, yo, let me go out there and help them up. Better yet, you go back in the house. You don't even have to finish shoveling. I'll sit up there and do it for you because I'm younger and I can afford to, slip and fall and get back up. Right. But, like I said, that's crazy. That's 100%, crazy how that works out, how, people decide that they want to, act in that type of manner, versus quote unquote, just being minding their business or being neighborly. And this is my other question. I'm like, to a lot of Black Americans out there, because this primarily stuff like this, I didn't see too many videos where this stuff happens in the suburbs. I'm like, why live in the suburbs if you know that stuff like this happens? So if this is happening to another Caucasian man, this is Caucasian versus Caucasian, right? If this is happening to him, what do you think would happen to somebody that was Black? He would have called the police. It really wouldn't have been no argument. He would have just sat up there and called the police at, 4 something in the morning, made up some type of story, and you would have saw 2 to 3 cop cars pulling up. No matter how deep the snow is, the police would have just pulled up. So this is why I sit up to ask a lot of, quote unquote Black Americans, why would you want to sit up here and deal with something like that? because again, I've never dealt with anything like this, and I've lived in a quote unquote multicultural suburb where it was mostly black people, right? Never dealt with that while I was sitting up there shoveling. And I shoveled snow at various times because my mom would sit up there and go to work because she's a nurse. So she would have varying hours that, she would go to work. And if I know, of course, if I'm up and I know that it basically, snowed or whatnot or whatever, get myself up and, make a trail, directly for her. So, she could sit up there and walk. And then, later on I get up and I'll finish, shoveling, everything before she, gets home and stuff. But like I said, that's crazy to me. That's some diabolical, stuff to have to actually deal with. But let's continue. Oh, Spitfire said, or also a heart attack. Yeah, and that happens especially to men. There's a lot of instances that I've heard of where you even had older guys using not even just the shovels, they were using snow blowers, and they ended up having like a heart attack, and they were just out. That was just it. And I'm like, that's crazy to me, because I'm like, the snowblower technically makes everything easier versus using a shovel where you're really like using your full body directly into it. A snowblower, you're just pushing. It's just like a lawnmower. You're just simply pushing it. You're not really, doing too much or, or anything like that. So, yeah. And that's the other reason I would heavily say earlier on that, a lot of guys got to really take care of themselves. Because it would be primarily men that I would always hear of that would be passing from, some type of labors like that, either, shoveling snow, using a snow blower, or, what have you. People got to take care. People got to take care. But let's continue.
Above me, and you would never catch them in a sundown town. Would never see them. Put them.
Oh, let me just replay. My bad.
People like Jeff Mead and this guy above me, and you would never catch them in a sundown town. Would never see them put themselves in harm's way with the same people that they support. The guy that was up top, he went to a Trump rally and got jumped. The white people calling them niggas, calling them gay, told them get out. To the same people he thought, oh yeah, we're all friends here. We all got the same political views.
So, question, I had to just pause it right there. This is the main thing that I've always tried to figure out, right? So let me try to. He said no. Thus, that's at the 27 mark, right? So let me just roll this back. I'm pretty sure everybody has seen these two black gentlemen before, right? You got Happy, that's all the way up top, and then you have the more serious guy that's directly at the bottom. From my understanding and watching videos, both young black men here have conservative views. Right. And the guy up top, it's crazy to know the fact that he went to a Trump rally and he got jumped. How did that happen? And I wonder, like, who jumped you? Was it black Americans that jumped him? Was it the gangs and the thugs? Was it the Bloods and the Crips that sat up there and jumped him? Or was it the MAGAteers that jumped him? Was it the good old boys, the white Americans, the J6ers? Were those the individuals that sat up there and jumped him? I wonder who jumped him. I wonder who, because I wouldn't have been at that rally because I'm like, well, that's not for me. That's, that's not my people. That's not my movement. That's not my group. Yada, 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 all the type of good stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out, was it other black conservatives that sat up there and just had a disagreement with them, that just didn't like them, that jump? Like, who specifically did this? That's all I'm just trying to figure out. And then if those said people basically did that to you, why are you still online trying to cater to those people? Because mind you, I bet you if black people were to have sat up there and jumped him, he would have everything to sit up there and say. He would be running his mouth back and forth, like, oh, look at these Democrats, this, and look at these black towns and cities that y'all sit up there and run. Look at how it is that y'all hate this, right? Running his mouth, all black negative everything, right? But it's like, you got jumped at a Trump rally and you still sitting up there pushing your eyes forward, showing your pearly whites and waving your hands and all this other type of stuff for the same group that showed you that they don't like you. Ooh, that's some crazy work. That's some diabolical work. But let's continue. Let me go back up to that 27-minute mark right there.
No. The minute you step out of line and get too comfortable, they got to put you back in your place, boy. I just think it's comical that they are self-aware enough to know, like, if I go to certain places, if I go to a Klan rally, I'm liable to end up on the rope. No matter who I voted for, no matter how much I support, no matter how many videos I make on TikTok, I'm still into these people. But I'm going to support them anyway. That is very much house behavior. You know you're not one of them. You continue to support it, but you're smart enough to know, let me not cross the line.
Yeah, that's crazy work. So I'm just trying to figure that out. And I've stated that before. I'm like, how come all of these people that talk all of this great game, talking about to the heavy, black conservatives, that feel that they're, superior and they're of like a certain caliber, cut from a certain cloth, right? Why is it that none of these people, these great people here that that you happen to see these examples, why don't they go to these sundown town areas? Why don't they go to these backwood, down south, heavily gated Confederate flag areas and host town hall meetings and go there and speak in those rural communities where there are no black folks, where they'll let you know exactly what it is. Matter of fact, there wasn't that long ago, probably about like 2 or 3 years ago, there was a young white guy who went to a racist town in America. And he just held up a sign talking about, I think it should have been Black Lives Matter. Right? And the white community that was there, and they were pulling up in abundance. And note, this was one of their own people, young dude, young Caucasian male, holding up just a simple sign. They drove real slow, started yelling racial slurs. Some people threw items directly at him. One older gentleman, while being on camera, he was like, I don't care if I'm on camera. He was like, you got such and such time to basically get up out of this place in this town, and I better not catch you when I come back around here. Now, that was an older Caucasian gentleman who more than likely been through and seen the civil rights era, right? Seen segregation, all of that. And he drove by and said that to one of the young men of his own community, somebody that's reflective of him, sending him that type of threat, even though he's not black. So again, what do people think would happen if I rolled up to any of these towns, decided to hold up a sign, not doing nothing to nobody, just holding up a sign, just sitting there quietly, not trying to debate, not trying to fight, not trying to do anything, but just holding a sign, just with that statement? What do you think would happen? Like I said, it's crazy work, but a lot of people don't want to. Will Williams said that was in Arkansas or Arkansas. Yeah. And that was some crazy work. That was 100% some crazy work, how that took place. And a lot of people still to this day want to try to bring up, the history is so long ago. Everybody is together. America's never been so more divided than today. And I'm like, every single year, y'all say the exact same thing. But I'm like, when segregation and everything was fully rolling, y'all weren't saying that America is the most divided today as it's ever been. Y'all weren't saying that. And that's the craziest work. The main people who contributed to division in America, segregation, and all of these things want to be the main ones to turn around and try to act like they're the peacekeepers. Y'all ain't never been peacekeepers. Never a day in your life. Every day has ever been about like war and battles. That's it. And bloodshed. That's it. That's how you got America. That's how you took it. All the land that is directly here, that's exactly how y'all got it. That is some crazy. That is diabolical work. Somebody said, "What serious? You're black." Wait, what? I'm a little bit confused. I don't even know what year was that even English. Was that even English? I'm not even sure who even wrote that at this moment in time. That's some crazy work. Somebody said they're under white hypnosis. Yeah. That's some crazy work. Let me see. Railroad company. Probably misspelled that. So let's just go over something real quick, right? Because a lot of people want to say that black people always want to be victims, and we're dealing with Black History Month, right? So let me just highlight this for a lot of people, because this is American history, right? As a lot of people would always like to, try to tell black folks, right? There's no such thing as Black history. Shout out to Morgan Freeman. We're Americans. It's American history. We don't need to specify. We don't need to right? So let me just put up this little tidbit of information. Let me see if I can get this sized up for you guys. You might not be able to specifically read it properly. I gotta go back and do this. Minimize that. I gotta bring that directly up. Whoops, I actually put it on the wrong source, actually. My apologies. Give me a second because I got two different things up. So it'd be a lot easier if I had like two screens. Let me tell you. World of a lot easier. Right? So we got this image right here of this beautiful Black American couple, right? So let me just read this directly to anybody that wants to talk about Black people being victims and get over the past. It says, Blaine and Diane Smith are true evidence of reclaiming Black history, having ownership of up to 600 acres. So they got more than their 40 acres and a mule, right? They got 60 acres of land their enslaved ancestors used to farm, right? So that's beyond, buying the block, right? They bought the plantation, right? However, they're facing a serious battle against a local Georgia government who authorized what they consider an unlawful seizure of property. Crazy work, right? So they said Mr. Smith states that his grandfather farmed 600 acres of land in Sparta, Georgia, picking cotton and harvesting a variety of vegetables while enslaved. Then in 1920, what used to be a field for enslaved labor became a piece of private property when Smith's grandfather bought it back. The expansive land has been known to belong to the Smith family for the last few decades. Though in 2023, a report states a decision from Georgia Public Service Commissioner granted the Sandersville Railroad Company to seize part of the Smith property to build a 4x5 mile Hanson spur alongside Georgia's Highway 16. For clarity, 1 square mile covers about 640 acres of land, pretty much all of what Smith owns. The company states that the route would be used to transport minerals for concrete. However, these plans were made against the wishes of the Smith family. So again, going back to what I stated earlier about how it is that white people would just come through and they want to just take land, they want to just get it any way that they feel like they can just take it. This is further proof of that. This man literally has 600 plus acres. 600. I don't even know what 600 acres look like. Right? I've seen maybe what like 40 or 20 acres looks like, but 600 acres. That's crazy amount. And that was original land that his people used to sit up there and slave on when they were enslaved. And then it was bought by his family and they kept it ever since. And then the United States government was like, hey, it was like, it's great that you wanted to, get this land. I'm happy that you did this. You kept it warm for us. So, because this land is here and we really don't want you to have it or do anything with it. We're going to rule to basically take it and pretty much all of it so that you have nothing left. And we're going to use it for whatever it is that we want to use it for. And this is a great example of today of what has been happening historically to Black Americans since the inception of the United States. So again, to anybody in the background that want to try to ask me what is my example of racism and all of these things and why is it so important that we talk about the past and why do I keep bringing up the past? Because everything that I listed here took place in the past. His ancestor, right? His family was enslaved. That family member at one point in time was able to buy that same land that he was enslaved on, that he worked for free. And now the United States government wants to take it. This is why, class, history is important. And you have a lot of dummies that sit directly in the background and try to tell you that history is not important. Stop talking about slavery. Stop talking about this. It was so long ago. You were never a slave. You're right. This man right here was never a slave, but his family was. And he has proof of that by the land that he owns. But guess what? Now you're trying to get rid of that history by trying to erase that land and use it for other purposes. That's the exact same thing that y'all like to do in the United States when it deals with black towns and cities that we used to have, but y'all burnt those all down, turned them into forest, repaved directly over them. Even if we had grave sites, y'all dug those up and did whatever. Yeah, it's real similar. But like I said, y'all don't want to talk about and bring up any of this. Diabolical work. That's crazy. And like I said, he literally he has it, right? His ancestor, his family literally got it from the mud, the same ground that he was forced to work on because he was enslaved. He bought it. You can't get no more American than that. you that's an American dream right there, right? You were forced to basically work something for free. Everybody else is making money directly off of you. You helping feed their families and helping their families go to schools and start up businesses off of the backs of your free labor. This is what Black Americans always talk about every single time. And now y'all want to take it away. Y'all want to erase it. Y'all want to get rid of it. That's crazy. That's some diabolical work. Diabolical work. 600 acres, though. 600 acres. And this is what I happen to talk about when, like, so case in point, right? So this is of course a true story. Anybody can look it up and yada yada yada, all that type of good stuff. So where are all the Black Republicans, right, that normally like to run their mouth and always want to tell Black people, oh, stop being victims, stop doing this, stop. Where are all of those other groups that tell Black people to stop being victims, right? So would that mean that this couple right here are being victims? Would their story count as being a victim, or would it count as an American being wronged by the government? I'm just trying to sit up there and figure out, because if you explain a story to white people, they'll just, it's you're just being a victim. You're just trying to portray right? They'll just regurgitate the exact same thing because they don't know what else to say. They can't actually admit that something like this is actually wrong and it shouldn't be happening, right? But they want to turn around and sit up and say that, oh, everybody's an American, everybody's equal. Since when? Because this ain't equal. You're not going to roll up to anybody that's white that has an estate or whatnot or whatever and say that, oh, we're going to sit up there and just rule to take your land. Please, you're not going to do that. And there's tons of estates that people have around the United States that are owned by wealthy, rich, white families. And nobody's going to rule or tell them that you have to give up your land that you've had, since whatever. But if you're Black American, this is what is going to happen to you. Somehow, some way, they're going to take your land. And I promise you, this is the other thing that's going to happen, right? Because this is going to be a callback to Tulsa and all the other stories that have taken place when Black elders who are, the few that are still alive, were fighting to get some type of form of reparation for what it is that they suffered and went through, right? The only thing that this court system is going to do, because this is an elderly couple, they're going to buy their time. They're going to keep this litigation going. It's going to be in suspension, right? Because I like I said before, they're going to fight for their land, right? But they're going to hold it in suspension, and they're just going to wait 10 years. They're going to see how long that they're going to be able to last, like health conditions and all of that. They're just going to wait up until that one moment basically happens, and then there's no more litigation, right? Because not just them should be fighting for this whole process to be overturned, but a lot of other people should be fighting as well. Like I said, where are these so-called celebrities? Where are all of these upper echelon, Black people that got rich off of the culture and whatnot to help them with the lawyer fees and to make sure that they get to keep their land and it's going to stay in their family for eons, just like the same thing that happens to white Americans or the European immigrants that come directly over here, Scottish, the Irish, the Germans, and all that other type of stuff. This is what I happen to state to a lot of people when people always see online where Black Americans say that we don't have no friends, because realistically we don't. Because the moment in time that you need people to actually step up when it's something important, when a wrong is taking place and happening, magically nobody is nowhere to be seen. And you'll have the elderly like this who have walked many miles, seen many generations, who have helped raise lives and other types of families. You'll see them struggling and going through this, but where is their help? Where is their support? Where is their love? Where is their value? Where is their respect? Like I said, this is crazy. And it's going to be the same waiting game that happened to all the other elders that were waiting for reparations, because they were there when their towns and their cities were getting burned down. They were there when they were watching their families get pulled apart and slain in the streets. They were there when they heard the gunshots and the windows breaking. They were there when the Molotovs were getting thrown directly through the churches. Do you think that any of these quote unquote true Americans care? Do you think that any of these Europeans, white Americans care? Do you think that any of these other immigrants, such as the Africans, they don't care? Because they're like, well, it's not my history. It didn't happen to me, so it is what it is. It's crazy work out here. It's crazy work. So let's look at this. They continue to say that the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development describes it as a right of government or its agents to utilize private property for public use with compensation. Certainly, the Smith family fought to keep agency over their land, teaming up with the Institution of Justice to appeal the commission's decision by arguing that the railroad construction wouldn't count as public use. However, on February 4th, a Fulton County Superior Court judge ruled that the rail spur was indeed of need of public use per court documents. The railroad company clapped back in a statement arguing that the project would have a significant economic impact on Hancock County. Now, notice that they said that it's going to have a significant impact on that economy, but not on the Smith family. But yet they wanted to try to mention that, you know, if they take the land and do whatever, compensation was going to be. Is that going to make them 50-50 partners in anything that gets built directly on there? No, they're not going to do that. They would never sit up there and do that. They probably won't even give you 1 to 2%. They'll probably just give you some lowball type of deal, and then you're going to have all of these corporations just coming through building. Right? So the railroad company said this, quote, "We're trying to make a difference for citizens that are here." You got to be kidding me. That's it. That's all y'all got to say. You're trying to make a difference for the citizens that are there. So you care for the citizens, supposedly, right? Well, better yet, you care for the money because you're a corporation, you're a company. But you don't care nothing about the history. You don't care nothing about the Smith family. You don't care nothing about what their people had to sit up there and go through directly on that land. You just care about, oh, the here and now. And, you know, we're just going to take this by any means necessary because we see it, so we want it. We're entitled to it, just like I said earlier. It's crazy work. Crazy work. So I just actually saw that because I had flipped the screen back. Shout out to Brother Allen for the $5 dono to the channel. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Also, shout out to all 27 on the original channel and all 89 on the first channel. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Like I said, this is crazy work. This is some crazy work. And like I said, when you happen to bring up stories like this of the here and now, magically, you know, trolls and everybody else tend not to show up. They tend not to want to rebuttal. They tend not to want to, you know, open their mouths and rah, 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 racka, racka, racka. They tend not to do any of that stuff because there's nothing that you can say against what is taking place by your own people. So again, I can go from past and present any which way, and we are still going to come up with the exact same situation. The exact same situation. What else they got? I think that was it. I think, what was it? The last part that they had said, however, the Smiths are not giving up. They've taken their appeal up the ladder to the Supreme Court for review. Now they wait to see if preservation of their land and legacy will be honored in the eyes of the law. Quote, "I go back to what my father said. Keep the land. The land gives you respectability. Everybody around here knows this is the Smith's land. It's my property. You don't have a right to take it." And he's right. Everything that his father said is 100% right. When you own land, when you have something like that, that people are clearly able to see, no matter if people hate you or not, they got to respect it. They got to respect it. Like I said, even for the racists out here that are the utmost racist, they still have to sit up there and respect it. Because a lot of them, they can sit up there and bark and talk and do all this other type of stuff, but a lot of times they live in a city, right? You got some people that are racist as all get out, and they live in New York. And especially if you live in a city, you don't own no land because there is none. But you got somebody like Mr. Smith here who has 600 acres, some of which that a lot of city people have never seen before in their life. He got a vast expansion of land as far as the eye can see. It's almost like the Lion King, right? Everywhere the sun touches is our land. This is where you go, right? So like I said, this is his legacy. This is his history. And you got America yet again trying to erase that history in real time in 4K. Matter of fact, this is going to be a story that anytime I happen to see somebody racist pop up, I'm just going to bring that up. I'm going to bring up the Smith family and how it is that the governments out here are still, taking land by any means necessary directly from Black Americans. It's crazy work. Spilled a little bit of coffee. Terrible. Yo, we got Sonny in the building. What is up? What is up? What is up? Sharif Wilson said, like I said, 2035 and 2040 will be an interesting time. That's right along the lines of what I've been telling people since before or around the pandemic. I was telling people 2030, 2035 is going to be, very interesting. And I've been saying that a lot of Black folks need to get a lot of things together, need to implement a lot of things, need to figure some stuff out. And as a lot of people have also stated at this moment in time, for anybody that's, listening, this is going to be one of the greatest transfers of wealth during this time that you are going to be able to witness and see. And, if people don't happen to pay attention and get in where they fit in and make some stuff happen, there's going to be a tremendous amount of people that are going to be left behind. And that door is probably going to be closed and never be opened ever again. So, like I said before, I keep trying to warn people, keep trying to tell people, and people are not paying attention. Better get together with some like-minded people and start making some moves. Start shaking some trees, make some stuff happen. And wait, Hack said what type of coffee? I got what is it? It's like from one of like the pods or whatever, but it's the Big Bang coffee. It's a medium roast. Pete's coffee. And what I got the French vanilla creamer that I use. So everything tastes pretty good. Pretty good. I know at one moment in time, Tippy was sitting up there trying to tell me to do a gaming live stream. Probably if I am to play a game, as some of you guys know that has seen me in the chat do before, it'll probably be on the Switch. It'll probably be some Pokemon Unite. And I'll just sit up there and be and play the game and just let y'all talk directly in the chat or whatever about whatever it is that y'all want to bring up and talk, and I'll probably go directly into that and stuff of that nature. D Money said fancy coffee. I said, yo, it ain't nothing fancy about this. It ain't nothing fancy. You can find that coffee at at any market, like a Stop and Shop. I was gonna say Farmer Jack, but I'm not. Is Farmer Jack even still around at this moment? Farmer Jack probably ain't even around really like that. I'm not sure. But basically any market that got like a coffee section, like yeah. I will sit up there and say, like, trying out the coffee pods for like the first time, that's actually pretty dope. Never got a chance to actually try that out or use it before, because I'm used to the coffee grounds and just doing it that way. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like the the coffee maker that I got at the moment in time downstairs. Got a Ninja coffee game. I said game because I was looking at Ty's comment. Ty said, "I'm stepping in for Tippy. Do a gaming live streams." I mean, I can't do it right now because that would just like switch up the whole topic of the title. I would literally have to set stuff up and then restart the stream. The whole other thing too is I would have to figure out what how I would want it to show up. Would I do the widescreen format, or I would, stick to, doing the stream like this, where the screen is a little bit smaller, but it's handheld for everybody that, has a cellular device. So, it's that type of thing. You said you added me on Switch. Please accept my firmware. I thought, wait, hold on. Gail said Vanderbilt. Wait a minute, is Gail going back from the previous part of the video? Hold on, I gotta get my Switch. Luckily, it's in the same room, so we're all good on that. I forgot to actually charge this thing. What am I at? 28%. So you said you sent friend request. Let me see. I mean, I accepted a friend request. I want to say like yesterday. If it was if you got like a green like me character with glasses and Tam Bong, I think it is. Yeah, I accepted that friend request. I want to say about a day or so ago, possibly. So yeah, if you did send one, I did accept it. So yeah, if anybody did add me on a Switch recently, the main game that you're gonna see me on is Pokemon Unite. That is what I primarily happen to play. Stuff like that. Just just putting it out there. Mo said Cafe Demande and hazelnut cream. I think that's what I had before. I think I had the hazelnut creamer before. I think that's what I have for my coffee. I'm trying to figure out, was it the Dunkin' Donuts one, or was it from the other company? I forgot. I got to go back to the market and do it. Colt said, do they have a Pete's coffee shop in your area? No. Pete's was just in the market. Like if you go directly to the coffee aisle, you'll see Pete's listed, Pete's along with all the other bags of coffee or the pods in that section. I said, it sounds like an excuse to me. It's not an excuse, brother. Yo, I like to sit up there and say Namor, but Namor X, what is up? What's up? Say, brother Seji, can we talk about how racist them Latino women are? Today I had to step in front of a Latino woman who was laughing at a black boy who was crying in his carriage. It's diabolical work. That is diabolical work. I'm not sure what in the world would she even be laughing about. That's a little bit weird. That is a little bit weird right there. But no, I covered them before. And a lot of the previous, well, I know you probably weren't here for a lot of the other live streams that I was doing about like for the last like week and a half or whatnot, especially dealing with those who voted for Trump, which is primarily the Hispanic, Latin community, whichever people want to consider or call themselves. Yeah, I covered that, and specifically the fact of some that talked like Sofia Vergara, that wanted to say that black people needed to be, more humble because God can give you things and take them away and yada yada. Like it's crazy how people say that, they try to put an ownership over God in a sense, especially when they want to say something negative. Like, oh, well, God gave you something. He can just quickly, take it. Like, who's he? So he's going to specifically do it for you? I'm just like, really, when it deals with like black people, people tend to always say that. They always want to, bring up and say that. Like, well, just because they feel wronged or they're in their feelings that, oh, well, God sees you. He's going to, like, word? Like, I need everybody else of different ethnicities to kind of roll back and calm down off of black people, because I'm like, this is not what you want to sit up there and do. Not what you want to do at this moment in time. But yeah, I've talked about how you got women of other nationalities, especially Latin women out here that are quite racist. But the main thing I've also stated before too is you have a lot of those out there, a lot of brothers out there that will be highly accepting and overlook a lot of those things, because they're looking for one thing directly from them. And I'm like, yeah, that's basically crime wise aiding and abetting, for lack of a better word, for your own selfish, gains, which will then empower a lot of those folks to, act in a certain, type of manner. But also on top of that, a lot of them feel that they are honorary white. A lot of them, their forefathers fought in order to be considered Caucasian, or quote unquote say that they belong to the white race. And if you call them anything else other than white, then it's deemed to be racist, which is that's some crazy work. I ain't never seen, and I done seen some crazy Bojangle, type of singing and dancing, black folks up out here. I ain't never seen that madness. That's even, I want to say that's technically beyond some Uncle Ruckus, because Uncle Ruckus has said some crazy stuff, but I ain't seen him like really be like, yo, you call black people white, if you call us anything else but that is racist. Some crazy stuff. It's crazy. Yo, Sonny said Latino hate doesn't have the white guilt we're used to. In my opinion, that makes them worse. Yeah, and I also covered the fact when it deals with the whole thing with the Dominicans and different things like that too. Like it's some crazy work directly out there, especially how you got Haitians and things like that get treated, right? Diabolical work, crazy work. Cole said we have Pete's Coffee Shop out here in California. See, y'all got everything out there in California. Like it's mostly like, let's say like California, Washington, like a Texas, New York, Florida, like or even like Atlanta. It's usually like those main places across the United States that have a lot of basis for a lot of these, establishments or businesses and whatnot. That's actually pretty dope. But much love and respect to you, Narmer, for stepping up and in the time of need, finding that super suit and putting it on real quick. It's morphin' time. That's exactly what happened. What something that would have been beautiful is if you could have like filmed that, because I would have loved to see what that person looks like, because that we would have been looking directly at that video. Promise you that video would have been right up here doing this live stream. That has some crazy work. Ty said, did you see everything I said? I think you must have sent it by Discord. I have not, again, been on Discord in a minute. Let me try to turn that up real quick to see if I can find some stuff. Rabbit said, Seiji, did you know that white men saw black people as inferior because before the intermixing of genes, baldness was very rare in black people? I mean, I believe it. Because if you happen to think about the older groups of people, like that was like few far and in between, if it were to even happen. Like you said before, it would be rare, barely existing, barely there. But again, these are the things that just so happen to take place when people go here and there with DNA and so on and so on and so on. Narmer said, those weak black men make me sick. Hey, it is what it is. I've got to the point where it's that type of on it, because I'm like, all right. Learn one day, or they're going to be made to understand like somehow, some way. That's the way I basically look at it. So we may have some slight technical difficulties because I'm trying to look what Hack basically sent. So things are probably going to go in and out. Which glasses they do? That's let me see. Crash out. Orders. Oh, what is that? Ice? This man said they spawn camping now. Yo, that's a crazy picture. That's some crazy work. That is some crazy work. Not like us winning 3 Grammys. Oh, that should be like the Mortal Kombat finisher. I'm trying not to like click on all this because I can hear the computer like picking up because that bad boy started lightly going in on the StreamYard. So yeah, now the computer kind of calming down. Let me see. I had no choice since I forgot to log into the Xbox app. I just got lazy. Sharif said religion. Wait, what was that? You said religion was brought about so that the poor wouldn't kill the rich. Yeah. As a tool of distraction. What was it that Napoleon said? I got to paraphrase. He was like, without religion, there would be chaos. Yeah. Like a lot of the rich wouldn't be able to do what it is that they're able to do at this moment in time. Like you wouldn't be able to just bring up something to basically lull and calm people down, aka black churches in the black community. Whenever black people are going to rise up or they're going to protest or whatnot, they always get the preachers from the community. Hey, my black people, we need you to do this. We need you to be calm. We need you to all this other type of stuff. Lulling people to sleep. And this only happens to, I just want to sit up there and make this known. People got to pay attention. This only happens to the black community. You don't see people in white churches coming out whenever, like when J6 was going on. Where was the Catholic Church at? I can make a joke about that. So I know where the Catholic Church is at. As you know, might have went with Boy Scouts, but where realistically was the Catholic Church? Just saying. Where were they at? Where were they at to calm down all of those J6 people? Nowhere to be found. Right? Where were any of those Christian churches? Like, where was Joel Osteen to calm down all of those people? Nowhere to be found. Right? Whenever there's, any type of protest going on around America from any other group of people, you never see these pastors, preachers, whatnot, whatever, step up. Only solely when it deals with the black community, people come out and tell black people, hey, this is not what God wants. God wouldn't want anger. God wouldn't want that. God wouldn't want this, all this other type of stuff. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. You said she whittled down to soup and stopped laughing the moment I shielded that child. Shout out to you. Shout out. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Oh, we got Joyce in the building. What's up? What is up? What is up? Code said I blame the baldness on Jerry curls and perms. Yeah, those chemicals were doing some work back then. It was something. Ray said the YouTube sound is going in and out. Yeah, that's because I opened up Discord. Let me just close that real quick. Because I'm working off of Wi-Fi, so it's a little bit different when I happen to open something up and close it and whatnot. So yeah. Wait, you said can you do the Frederick Douglass Valentine Day YouTube joint? I don't even know what that is, as a matter of fact. Namor said, I implore our people to preempt all these other groups and what they do around us. Really, that's the moral of the story. In the end, too many times we let things pass. No, you're right. You are right. A lot of times we tend to mind our business. As I've stated before, if we feel that it's not happening to us, then we're, pretty much going to mind our business. We're going to just, go on about our day and whatnot or whatever. Because I can promise you a lot, just even going back to, like the civil rights and different things like that. Or maybe even other occurrences dealing with America. You had a lot of black people that either weren't about that or they were just like, hey, I'm just going to let everybody else do it. I got too much on my plate. Let me just, go on, about my day and all this other type of stuff. So, let me see. Georgia said, why is this on shorts format? This is the format that tends to work. And technically I like it. Just saying. Just saying. I've done actually all formats, or at least the ones that are in a sense given. Technically, you can probably have about 3 to 4 different formats, but YouTube only allows you just that one type. So, that's where we are. We're gonna, use what it is that we are given. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing less. You said Sharif said Discord name, I'll join up. Oof. Man, that Discord is I would actually have to start Discord again. Damn. Hold on, I'm just gonna warn you, there's really nothing on the Discord. We have a Discord, but it really doesn't get used. Because also during the time a lot of people weren't, using Discord like that. Or a lot of people didn't know about it. It's technically it's pretty hard to get people to go directly to a whole brand new app. It's very tough to do that. So I'm actually starting up Discord on my phone. How did it just bring me to Mech Breaker? That's crazy. I mean, Mecha Break. That's some crazy work right there. I'm trying to actually go to my Discord and try to. Why is this working so slow? Even on my phone, it's working slow. My phone is not old. Okay, unlock Nitro. Okay, there we go. We're not trying to do that. Did Discord just go black on me? It did. That's because it cut off. All right. Well, at this moment in time, I cannot actually get you the Discord information. I want to say for Sharif Wilson, can I actually go to the original channel? Let me see if I can go to the front of the SEIJIHITO YouTube channel, because I think I still have a link up there. Hold on, let me try to see if I can find that. That's the store, membership, post, playlist, podcast, live shorts. Okay, so it's not on that. I gotta fix that. Let me swap. Let me do this. And whoops. I gotta go to the front page of this one. Your channel, 4 more links, correct. It's the Discord. This link should work. I want to say it should work. Let me see if I can type that directly in there, and I go back to streamer. It's going to end up sending to like both channels, but yeah. But yeah, that's the link to the Discord. Ty said just going to ignore everything I sent on Discord. I feel offended. I didn't. I'm trying to sit up there and actually get this open on my phone, as a matter of fact. I sat up there and this man said rip Discord. Yeah, because from my computer, I really can't sit up there and play it. No, I seen the picture, seen the finisher for Kendrick, and then it's like, damn, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. And then when the president is a crash out. No, I seen those. I just can't sit up there and watch them right now. Well, I can't put them on screen, at least the videos, because that'll cause like some type of issues, and people will be like, this is mine. So yeah, can't really sit up there and do that. Problematic. What else we got here? Sunkiss said, how they see us is weird and crazy. That's bars. Ty said, I got it. William said, I knew that judge wasn't one of us. Okay, so he had already, okay. Yeah, because I had the what's name pause, so I couldn't even find it. Ray said everyone knows about say 4B. Want to see the chess moves or the deportations, although justified. We must be mindful this can shift with whatever is deemed a national security threat. I mean, true, but the way I look at it is what it is. Whatever's going to happen to Black Americans is going to be something that's already been happened. It's just a repeat. So, at this moment in time, other people are getting their turn directly on the wheel, just like during 9/11. People were not focused on Black people. They were focused on those who are Arab, those who are Muslim, right? The shift basically swapped and changed. And then after people were done with that, they went, right back to Black people. That's what tends to happen. It gets to a point in time where either something gets highlighted or people are tired of, talking and doing the exact same thing. So, they'll start messing with somebody else. Just like what bullies, normally do in school. Readiness exercise of 1984 Bravo was a classified scenario and a drill developed by the United States federal government to detain large numbers of United States residents deemed a threat. The funny thing, going back to that would be, you would have to go back during the pandemic and you would have to look up what Canada was going to try to do during that time, where they were going to have green areas. During that same time, I did live streams telling people about this movie called Songbird, where they had areas for, quote unquote, as you stated before, people who are deemed a threat or the infected people versus the other people that were just able to, live. It was a little bit limited what those people out there were able to do, but they were still able to move around freely versus the people that were in these types of internment camps. So that was pretty much reflective of what is going to happen in the future. Sooner or later, whenever they decide to implement it or when something happens to go wrong, they're going to implement that exact same thing. Whatever they couldn't implement during the pandemic, they're going to implement that later on. So, like I told people before, I try to bring people certain things when I just so happen to see it, when I notice certain similarities to different things, but it's up to people to pay attention. It's up to those. Miss Ivory, what is up? What's up? You said, yeah, Latin men do the same to Black women, like us or sexualize us. The women can't stand it. It'd be like that. And I've seen that before. And the way that I notice these things is by going on TikTok, and you'll have a guy of a specific group sending out this message. Like, it was just funny enough for Miss Ivory. It's funny that you mentioned that because I saw a video on X where it was this white guy basically stating how he feels more comfortable with Black women than women of his own race. And I'm like, that's some crazy. I'm like, that's some crazy type of work there. And then you even had a quote unquote white woman that chimed in and said like she agrees with what it is that he's saying. I'm like, huh? I'm like, this is crazy, because I'm like, if it was anywhere close to reverse, that dude would have been torn down. He would have been burned asunder and yada yada yada. But things are a little bit different, when it deals with either a quote unquote preference or somebody else that is different. The other thing I've also talked about the fact is that you have a lot of people that like the attention. They like the sexualization and all of that, type of stuff. Because in some way, shape, or form throughout people's lives, they've lacked a necessary type of affection or love, from their family. From other people that they were specifically interested in. So the first thing smoking that comes along where it's giving them that, that fetishization or that sexual attention, they're going to deem or see that or interpret it as some type of love, and they're just going to run off and take it. It's off to the races. And, I've tried to talk about that a lot, but, it is what it is, But it's more so for, when you have people out there that specifically want to state something negative about, Black people, like, hey, yada yada yada, all this other type of stuff, rah rah rah, racka racka racka. I really don't, care if other people that's just minding their business are just doing whatever. It's, it is what it is. Is what it is. Go out there and live life. Sharif Wilson said, facts, bro. That plan was written up before I was born, and I'll be 44 this year. Much love, respect, and appreciation. And shout out to that 44. Shout out to that 44. Truth said, I got you, Seji. I will link up. All right, all right. I gotta just remind myself to actually go to Discord because Ty and Hack can tell you that I'm pretty bad with this at the moment in time. This man talking about some Kiki. Do you love me? Oh, that's terrible. How normal people attract the opposite sex, cars and money and boats. Wow, that's crazy. Oh man. Oh man, that's some diabolical work. Diabolical. Rabbit says this may be a sensitive topic, but can you do a video on the biracials who sided with the slave master and tried to sabotage the slave revolts? I'll have to do some research. I think I might have a book touching on that. I would have to like look through my books. I mean, I could probably, do something directly on that. You will probably be one of a few that'll actually like look at it. But yeah, I can look into that. I can look into that. Gail said, no fear. I ain't worried about no what if. They're here and now, one day at a time. Right? Racism activities, quarantine camps. Yep. So I'll connect to see the signs of things get closer to that. We can't panic. We just gotta adjust. Yeah. And throughout the pandemic, that's the main thing I was telling people out here. I'm like, yo, when you start to see stuff and all these other types of things, don't freak out. Because when I would bring up certain information about like, let's say like barcodes, digital this, digital that, and whatnot, I had people like just like freaking out. People just like throwing up Bible verses and stuff. I'm like, dog, they're like help you at this moment in time. You have to deal with reality. There are things like how I'm knocking on this wall, how I can touch and see stuff, and you got to deal with it like that. Right? It's like I said, I told people before, it's great that you know the Bible and the verses. That's cool, no problem. My mom raised me to at least have a base in faith and thinking that. So I sit up there and get that. But again, you got to also deal with reality. The one thing that I was mainly taught that I kept with me all this time is that God gave everybody common sense, right? So like I said, that means that you don't just be like, I'm just, gonna, read this book and do this, that, and the third. It's like, nah, like you got to be doing some real world stuff. You got to be doing some physical work. Like knowing a Bible verse is not going to help you like automatically with agriculture, right? That's not going to help you with like, hey, I need a little bit of money. I'm trying to learn some stuff. Let me, find out some stocks and all this other. That's not going to help you with that. You got to actually like learn something different. Put your mind in a whole different area so that you can get educated and so that you can grow and so that you can learn and know how to utilize that so you can benefit from it. Right? That's what you realistically should be doing. So, but like I said, I try not to say it in those words of what people should be doing. I just try to, direct or point in a direction. Let me see. Raise head, bless up, and all in the chat. A very wise and educated group. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Rabbit says, Seji, do you know Brock from Pokemon finally got a girlfriend and she's black? She's the Pokemon version of a native Hawaiian. Oh, that's a shock. You said her name was Olivia. Wow. Matter of fact, the funny thing that people don't list about Brock is that Brock, in a sense, has no parents. And he's raising like a multitude. Originally, I thought like Brock was basically, I thought he was Mexican because I'm looking at his color and everything, right? And then he was also the leader of his own gym, and he was taking care of all of his brothers and sisters and everything. I was like, yo, Brock is Mexican. I'm like, all right. And then I looked at Ash. I'm like, Ash is a white American child raised in a single parent home. And originally I thought that his dad was Giovanni because they said that his dad was a trainer or some other type of stuff. Like they barely touched on like who his father was. And I thought his father was actually like Giovanni. I'm like, so this is what happened. I'm like, Ash's mom got caught up at one moment in time with Giovanni and who it is that he was, had a child, and then they just like separated ways. He went to go do Team Rocket. She went to go be a single mother and, raise Ash. Because her main helper is, Mr. Mime in the house. That's basically the man in the house. for all intents and purposes, you know. But that's just me. That's just me looking at, you know, Pokemon and all of those things. Gail is already on it today. She was like, "Don't you come in here with that BS today." Well, technically, it's a bit late for that. It's a bit late. It's a bit late. Garth Peterson said, "Hi, all. Pip pip cheerio and all of that good stuff." Well, I was just talking about Pokemon for a brief second, because Rabbit had brought it up. He said, he was like, "Nah, it's all good. We ain't doing that." Yo, McCullough, what is up? What is up? Said Ash is a loose, vagrant mongrel. That's cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. Hack said, I heard somewhere his mom was a member of Team Rocket at one point. I believe it. I believe it because I really feel like Giovanni is actually his father, because Giovanni has a hunger to basically create and capture, you know, all Pokemon, especially the rarest ones, directly, you know, out there to basically be the top of the top. And then you got Ash that wants to be a Pokemon master, which he did after all of these years. Ash, you know, finally did it through all the trials and tribulations. That man finally sat up there and you know, and did it. You know, and then you still got, you know, Gary directly, you know, out here, aka Vegeta. Ash being basically Goku, you know. And then you got Professor Oak out here being you know, Master Roshi / King Kai. Like I said, you know, the funny thing is you can draw between a lot of shows, you can draw a lot of like different parallels in between shows and all that type of stuff. It's funny. Rabbit says, Sergi, there's a joke in the Pokemon community that Professor Oak is smashing Ash's mom on her low while he's out catching Pokemon. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Because he's also eating dinner and breakfast at Ash's house before. Like, hey, Professor Oak, what are you doing here? Yeah. You can't unsee it. Goth said, just passing through. Hit the like for you. I'm out. Well, you know, much appreciation, you know. Gail be out here checking people at the door, be like, yo, what you doing here? What you doing here? It's like, hey, we saw you here yesterday. You're trying to cause a ruckus. We're prepared today. Like I said, you know, much love. Case in point for anybody here, and this is just a general, you know, type of thing for anybody that's here. How many people here are actually gamers? Just saying, just trying to take a task and a poll. Matter of fact, I should have put a poll directly up there, but I didn't think about actually listing that for the stream, because, you know, a lot of people just happen to pass by and all that type of good stuff. Ty said, Gil said, you can't come in here with your wristband. Yep, without the wristband, bars. Of course, Hack, we know that you're a game. We know this. Some of y'all I got on Steam as well. So I'm just trying to figure out how many gamers we got directly in here. Because I remember, I forgot, I'm not sure if it was Hack or Ty that said that we needed, you know, like a team for like Marvel and stuff. Because technically I do tend to play quite a bit of multiplayers directly out there. Sunkiss said, I'm glad I saw this. Wait, saw what? What happened? Rabbit said, me, I mainly play Pokemon, Mario Kart, and farmer games. Okay, I got, wait, so Rabbit, do you got Pokemon Unite? Let me know if you got that. I mean, I played like Mario Kart, but technically for that, it's like I really want like a steering wheel. I want like the whole, you know, driver setup, you know, stuff like that. Oh, you talking about the post? Okay, much love, respect, you know, and appreciation. Much love. Cause yeah, let me see. D Money said I'm on PS5 right now. I do have a PS5. You can probably add me on there. That is, it should be in reverse. I want to say it should be Hito _ Seiji. I forgot what my picture is because my PS5 is downstairs, so I can't even log in directly right now and post it. You said Rabbit. You said no, but I do got Pokemon Legend of. See, I don't even. The only Pokemon game that I actually have right now is Unite. Wait, how come you don't have Unite? Because Unite is free. That is a free game, and it's not difficult to actually play either. It's actually pretty fun if you're used to like the MOBAs and different stuff like that. Hack said, posted in your Discord for the LOLs. Uh-oh. Wait, he said in the Discord, not wait, whose picture? I don't even know whose picture it is right there. I would actually have to scroll down real quick. So I wonder, I've done about like 18 live streams that actually showed up there. It don't even tell me anything is in the Discord except for the announcements for whenever the channel goes live. Man, that's crazy. This is all the way back from like December, I think. That's how long I haven't been in here. Let me tell you. So I guess that one was new. And then it says 99 other plus posts. But yeah, that's from like other channels. We got Namor X said all the Souls games right here. Okay. Because I do plan on getting the brand new Elden Ring game, which is multiplayer. So that's a multiplayer. I'm not sure if it's going to be crossplay. So I'm not sure if some of you guys might have PS who got PlayStation are getting that, or if it will be crossplay, but that's another one as well. I do have Call of Duty, but I just haven't played it in a minute. I can, probably still, it's like riding a bike. I only mainly use shotguns anyway, so that's the only time I happen to pop up on there. And plus, they got the TMT collaboration that's coming up, so they're trying to have people spend money. And I do love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ever since I was younger, so might have to get a skin, even though I don't want to. McCullough said, I was playing GTA 5 online, but it's so many players who bother other players, ruining the experience. I mean, well, we will be on that Grand Theft Auto 6. You'll more than likely see that on this channel. Let me. I mean, even though I do technically have a gaming channel, but that only has about like 12 followers directly on there. So I'll figure out how to sit up there and do it. I might, just do it on the main 2 channels like I do the normal live streams, or I might do it on the gaming channel. I'm not sure. What was it? Rabbit said, I need to make some room. I have a lot of demos on my Switch. Yeah, trust me, I'm a hoarder when it comes to a lot of old games that I haven't played. On my Steam, I have about over probably like 10, 15, maybe like 20 games I haven't played since 2014, somewhere in like September or November. And technically I should delete those, but I didn't. Also, for anybody who is on Steam, they do have Exoborn, which is a brand new third-person shooter that I think you can request an invite for, that you can download. I think it should be like a three-man squad. So we can we'll see how that works. You also got Mech Breaker. That is another game which is close to Gundam. Whenever they happen to have, I think Officer Haku, aka Brandon V. World, said that the beta for that will be coming up on like the 23rd. So that'll, if I remember, I will sit up there and decide to stream that, regardless on whatever is going on, just to, have people relax and stare at something else. Yeah, I think he said the beta starts up February 23rd. So yeah, I just got to remember to keep that directly in mind, and I will be good. Michael said, I'm downloading Call of Duty 6. My PC is slow. Yeah, trust me. I feel your pain. I'm all the way upstairs and I'm on like a Wi-Fi-ish LAN connection. Trust me. I understand. That's probably about like 100+ gigs that you got to download. But it may be a little bit less if you subtract some of the other content directly off of that, so it won't be as bad. Rabbit says, Seiji, I recommend you Mighty Keith. Oh, no, I know about Mighty Keith. I've watched him throughout the years. From everything when it deals with like Natoni. I said Natoni. Jesus Christ. I combined Nintendo and Sony. Wow, Nintoni. That's a that's a new one right there. Everything from when he talked about the Nintendo showcase to the state of play for PlayStation and the Xbox showcase and indie games. I didn't see that, and I think also E3 as well. That dude is funny. Got some funny work. Woo, you said right now it's about 318 gigs. Woo, RIP to your hard drive. RIP, let me tell you. Luckily for my Series X, I have 1 terabyte hard drive up there. Once I get some more money, I'll probably try to get a 2 terabyte, but then I gotta try to re-download those games or transfer those somewhere. It's a pain. It is a major pain. Major pain. But also shout out to all of those gamers directly out there. And again, shout out and happy Valentine's Day to all of the peoples directly out there indiscriminately. Shout out. Michael McCullough said I had to completely clear my D drive. Woo. Yeah, that's tough right there. Says Seiji, why didn't you like the PlayStation showcase? PlayStation, they were lacking in games. Let me try to, because we've been talking about games for so much. I gotta swap the picture real quick. So if people make it to this part of the live stream, they know what it is that I'm talking about. Because some people are like, yo, man, what does this have to do with what it is that was showcased? Like, this doesn't even make any type of sense. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna put state of play directly up there. It's whatever, because we talking about video games anyway. Let's see, where source, put image. I should have did this earlier, but I wasn't really thinking about it. So the state of play was in a sense trash. I'm just gonna be honest, and I have a PlayStation. It wasn't what I felt that it should have been. I expected Sony to actually bring something. I mean, they had a few games there that were all right, but they could have did more. They could have realistically brought more. I like the brand new Shinobi game that's coming out. I like the successor. What was the name of that game with the white girl in space? I forgot the name of that game, but I think it's like Sora or Soros or something like that. That game looks pretty dope. And I think they might have had 1 or 2 more games that I liked that were there, but other than that, it wasn't really anything. Hack said, to be honest, Xbox and PlayStation should have at minimum a 4 terabyte. Yeah, I agree. This is the thing. They're not going to do it, and this is the same thing that I said about a lot of these corporations, right? They're not going to do anything that's going to benefit or help out the consumer. They're going to do anything to line their pockets. So when it deals with video games, they'll put in loot boxes and do anything that can monetize. They'll put in a monetization shot before they actually care about the true details of the control of the game, how the game works, the story, and all this other type of good stuff. They're more worried about pulling in as much money as possible to try to compete. And I also partly blame this on Fortnite, because a lot of these companies saw what Fortnite did, and they're trying to do that exact same method, but just tweak it. And a lot of companies are failing. They can't capture that exact same hundreds of millions of dollars per month that Fortnite is still getting since they, started this whole thing up. Much love. I had this to the back. Much love, respect, and appreciation to anybody that just subscribed. I did not have my notification properly above, so it blocked out who it was. But thank you for subscribing to the channel. Much love, respect, and appreciation. But yeah, it's terrible. Michael said, I'm only planning on buying 2 new games this year, GTA 6 and Borderlands 4. Yeah, I did see Borderlands 4. Borderlands 4 looked all right. I have Tiny Tina. I didn't finish it though, so I got to figure out something. Luckily, it's not like a Mass Effect or whatnot or whatever, where whatever you did here will actually progress wise carry over. Because then I'll be screwed. Because then I would actually have to play the game and then do that. So we'll see how it works though. We will see how it works. I would actually love it if Borderlands did a third person type of thing, so I could actually see my character and different things like that, but that's just me. I like third person. But yeah, I agree with those two picks: GTA 6 and Borderlands 4. Yeah, yep. Rapper says, Seji, it's Valentine's Day. Name one black anime or cartoon character you had / have a crush on. Mine is Garnet from Steven Universe. You know, the funny thing that you said that is in Multiverse, the fighting game that they had, Garnet was the main character that I played. And I had the costumes for her because I liked Garnet because I was like, she's dope. She had the fro, you know, the third eye. She had the gloves, all of that. Even when it came to the Steven Universe TV show, I love that character, dope character. For me, I would say it would have to be Storm. Storm is one of the main X-Men characters that I've played since X-Men Legends. For those who are actually old enough to have played X-Men Legends on PlayStation 2. Played Storm in X-Men Legends 1 and 2. Also in the fighting game that they had for X-Men. I played Storm and I don't think she was in Marvel Ultimate Alliance the first one. I'm not sure. I would have to actually go back there. I actually do have Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 Gold on my Xbox, but I'll have to check. But I know she was on Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. I know she was there. X-Men characters weren't really on X-Men Destiny, so there was no way to actually play as Storm on there and actually 100%ed X-Men Destiny, regardless of people saying if that was a terrible game or not. And Marvel Rival, well, also Ultimate Alliance 2, I played as Storm, but Storm wasn't where she needed to be. And I feel like Nintendo really failed on Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. They need to actually, you know, do better directly on that. The only game I didn't really play Storm as or on is Marvel vs. Capcom 2 because her health was pretty light. She was strong if you played her more aerial wise. What was it? Magneto, Sentinel, Storm. But technically by herself, she could, you know, it was looking bad. It was looking kind of bad. X-Men Legends and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, that was the main one where I feel like Storm was at her peak. But yeah, it would have to be Storm. Ty said, I'm not really looking forward to any new games. I got you. You said still waiting for a Metro Prime 4. Oh yeah, I remember that. That actually looks pretty nice. Narmer X said, great pick with Storm, brother Seji knows. No, Storm is dope. Storm is also beyond Omega level. You know, at this moment in time, she is, I want to say technically you could say she is the herald of a god in the Marvel universe at this moment, because they show like the different hierarchies in a sense. So you got Storm, which is like, you know, Eternal Storm. That's what her main thing was. And then you got the Phoenix of the Phoenix Force, and then you got Scarlet Witch with the Darkhold book, right? So like I said, dope stuff. Pretty dope stuff. Ty said she was in all 3 Ultimate Alliances. Okay. Because it's been a minute since I played. I played more of Ultimate Alliance 2 than 1. Because I don't think I was able to get 1 during that time because, of course, being younger, really didn't have the money and, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, Ultimate Alliance 3, yeah, no, that was not. They should have did better. This is the thing I said to say. If anybody got a chance to play Ultimate Alliance 3 on Nintendo Switch, for what it is that they were trying to do was okay, because they were going to try to implement the same thing from Ultimate Alliance 1, which Ultimate Alliance 1 is actually pretty dope as well. And I want to say X-Men Legends implemented the exact same thing too, where you were able to swap out the moves for the characters for other things. So they were going to try to do that for Ultimate Alliance 3, but it failed because they did not actually release any other moves that you could swap it with. So Storm was kind of lackluster, because I like using Storm pretty much for her lightning, dealing with X-Men Legends. If you power Storm up enough, the gust, she would never touch the ground. Storm does not touch the ground unless she gets knocked down, right? But if you increase like her weather control ability, she can pretty much deflect projectiles. So any tornado, because she's levitating, you would have a small tornado around like her feet or whatever, and that tornado would be able to, or that wind would be able to deflect certain projectiles or lessen, you know, damage and different things like that. So it was just poor implementation on Nintendo's part, and they got to really do better. They really got to do better. I would also probably say before the 23rd, you guys may just so happen to see me play the brand new Dynasty Warriors game. That's sort of like a roguelike that they released. So don't be too surprised if you happen to see me do that for a live stream and people are like, yo, man, what you doing? I thought this was a political channel. I thought this was about the news. Why are you playing video games here? Because I want to play video games. So I just want to do something different, you know. What is it? Ty said she was in all three. Right. Hack said X-Men 1992 video game was my favorite. I remember playing. I did play Children of the Atom. I did play that. There might have been some other X-Men games I missed, but yeah, those are the main ones. Michael said I miss video arcades. Yeah, arcades were dope. I grew up in a time period. I'm not sure what we got, like 55 people here. So a lot of people should be old enough to, in a sense, remember the arcades. I grew up during a point in time where we had Michigan Fun Center up there in Michigan, and we also had the Butterfly. Right, those are the two main arcades that I knew of. And also, if the state fair came around in Detroit, you also had different tents that were set up that had arcades. Nowadays, because the arcade is at home, you don't have that anymore. So it's more so like a nostalgic type of thing. This is why I love Japan, because they still, even with all of the electronics that they have, the people there still love the arcade. They still love the experience. They still love, you know, being face to face with somebody else and playing video games versus just being online. And for me, I technically feel like it will be difficult to get the newer generation onto going to arcades, unless I guess you would upgrade it, sort of in a sense like a Dave and Buster type of thing, where you, instead of using like the money and the quarters, which technically I miss using tokens and inserting those, you will more so have to use, you know, like a card, sort of like again what they got at Dave and Buster's. The other thing I would also like to say that I would want to mention, if anybody out here is a fighting game fan, one of the things that I saw one arcade cabinet implement, at least here in the United States, of course, they probably got this in Japan, but in the United States, they allowed you to actually hook up a PlayStation controller. And that was to, it should have been Tekken Dark Resurrection. I thought that that was the dopest thing ever in life. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, you can actually hook up like the controller. I'm like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, you know what? Let me start playing Tekken and get good enough so that I can bring my controller and, you know, hook it up directly to the arcade cabinet and start playing. Like, I thought that was a very great thing technology wise that they, you know, implemented. I thought it was dope. And plus I got experience with playing in an arcade. One of the guys that I had on my friends list, I actually became friends because we played Street Fighter 4 at a arcade in Oakland Mall. And he played Sea Viper and I played Balrog. And I was technically during that time still sort of kind of getting more used to like playing with the arcade stick and whatnot, and figuring out how I wanted to, you know, hold the like the joystick and different things like that, because you got like the cross hand, wine glass, and you know, all the other type of good stuff. Like I said, you know, different experiences out there are pretty dope. And getting a chance to meet, you know, other people and conversate and talk, because online is a little bit, you know, wacky at times because you don't know what you're running into. And you got a lot of people that want to be heavily emotional, because if you take a lot of these people that's highly emotional online, they're not going to be like that in real life. They're not going to, you know, start, you know, getting directly, you know, calling people out of their names and doing this, that, and the third and whatnot or whatever. People actually had common sense because people knew that there were more than likely like some ramifications because you're actually face to face with somebody. So you're just going to, you know, take that L and you're going to, you know, have to walk with it. Hack said, don't forget the quarter rule. Oh, no, yeah. There was a song that I used to love listening to. It was called Put Your Quarter Up. I think, who was it? Was it Quasimodo? Was MF Doom on there? I forgot the artists that were, the underground artists that were directly on there. But yeah, and that was like the main rule. Like you had your quarter or your token that you had, and you would put it on top of, in between the start or the select button. And that would basically dictate who are, you know, the next five or whatever, you know, in line. Like I said, there was a lot of different things there that the newer generation know nothing about because they never had to experience it. They never went through it or nothing like that. This is another reason why I say that growing up and actually going through the 90s, not just like being there, like in a sense, you know, as like a baby or something, but just actually being there to experience, like going through like the 90s and the 2000s, and being able to like actually experience it for what it was. That was a time within itself. That's a time within itself. Because right now it's just straight tech and everything is online, right? And you know, it is what it is. Yo, Prince, what is up? What is up? What is up? Prince said arcades we had were the simulation stations, Aladdin's Castle, and Puff Puff Golf. Let me tell you, I don't know anything about what you just listed. For me, I remember what was it? I forgot. It was something called Rush. I forgot what the car game was called. I remember the Terminator game. I remember a lot of the racers that they had directly up there. I think Crazy. Okay, we had some a brief little cutout right there. I don't even know what happened there. Crazy Taxi was one of those things, along with a few others. I think we had like Starship Troopers. One of my other favorites were House of the Dead and House of the Dead 2, House of the Dead, right? You had those directly up there. You had the Star Wars arcade game. One of my other favorite races that I love to play was Hydro Thunder. That was one of my classics. I love that game still to this day. The original, not the, you know, more so up to date, you know, whatever they decided to do. Because the code that you can put into the arcade to get the level 1, 2, or 3 boost, and you could like jump over certain things earlier on or get that boost earlier on, you can still put that same code into the game system as well. Like I said, it was some, you know, it was some dope times. And, yo, especially if you was playing like arcade games and you knew like some of the codes and you could just put those directly, crazy work. Like I remember the first time seeing somebody do a fatality. I think, what was it? Was it Ultimate Mortal Kombat? I think it was. Well, I forgot, or was it just Mortal Kombat 3? Whenever they had the Mortal Kombat 3 arcade machine, somebody put in a code to get Cyborg Smoke. Because in those Mortal Kombats, he was one of the other cyber ninjas that was hidden. He was in the game, but you had to, you know, go through, you know, some different things to unlock him or to even also fight him as well. So, you know, some dope stuff back then. Michael said, I can't stand the online strong keyboard commando types. Yeah, you know, the reason I have a problem with quote unquote PC Master Race or the keyboard warriors is because they think that they're superior to everybody. But I'm like, at the end of the day, if we get on a fighting game, guess what? You're not going to be on keyboard. You're not going to be on keyboard and mouse. You're not going to be, oh, I'm about to click and point in ADS, you know, F, you know, or QWERTY directly with the Rage and Demon and this, that, and the third and get up. You're not doing that. You're about to use a controller, or you're going to sit up there and use an arcade stick. That's it. Those are the only two options. You're not being on keyboard, whooping nobody on Street Fighter or Tekken and all the other type of stuff unless you got tool assist. That's it. That's the only way that you're doing it. The other thing that I have a dislike about is the fact of the amount of cheaters that are directly on PC. Like if you were to look at some Call of Duty streams right now on Twitch or look at some clips, you would see a lot of hackers, a lot of cheaters, aimbotting and wall hacks, all this other type of stuff. But yet they claim that they're the best in shooters and yada, yada, yada. But you got all of these things to assist. They talk about how aim assist carries console players, but they don't want to bring up the fact that a lot of these hacks that they pay for, and I'm talking about certain websites, people are paying like $120 in order to cheat on a game that originally cost only $60. Or in some instances, they torrented that game for free. Got a free copy, a legal pirated copy, and then they're going to pay extra money in order to cheat to quote unquote be considered good. Crazy work out here. It's crazy work. Diabolical. Cole said my friend has an old school arcade game at his house with the 80 cents game. That's dope. That is pretty dope. One day, like I said, when I happen to make it big, y'all gonna see the setup that I'm gonna have. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be cold. He said Tron. Yeah, I remember Tron. I remember trying. Michael said amusement parks always had the best arcades. Bars. Paperboy, you know, the funny thing is I had Paperboy on a black and white Game Boy. And I'm talking about the black and white Game Boy with the green screen with the red dot directly on the side where it would start to fade in and out. And you had to, you know, reinsert your batteries. Like I'm from the days of having 5 batteries in the back of a Game Boy and taking those out of every remote control in the house in order to play. I'm from the days of where you had to put, because you didn't have money for new batteries and you had to wait. So you had to put your batteries in the freezer in order to help them recharge or to keep a charge. That's the generation right there. Like I said, the newer generation don't know nothing about that. Nothing. Classic days. I'm from the generation of having a controller graveyard where I played PlayStation and PlayStation 2. And because you went so hard on those controllers, you had to buy new ones. Not because you were slamming them, but because you were just going, you were using those controllers every single day. You had to buy new ones. And the controllers were ranging from $20 to like $40. Right now, like I said, I got a PS5. That controller costs about what, like $80? Cost about $80. I think the bundle that I got, it came with like 2 controllers. So I came out, you know, all right, you know, with that. Killer Instinct, yep. Somebody I knew, actually, I filmed him actually winning the Killer Instinct tournament in a mall. So yeah, Killer Instinct is pretty dope. Rabbit says, Cedric, in your opinion, what is Vegeta? What is his biggest L? You said, for me, it's between Frieza and Android 18. Well, technically, Vegeta got his lick back, and at the start of Super, when Frieza went gold and Vegeta went blue, and he was beating him down, and because he was getting beat down, Frieza, and he was about to end him. Frieza was like, "No, this ain't happening again. So I'm not sitting up here doing a death ball like I did before. I'm just about to shoot energy directly into the planet to destroy it." Like I said, Frieza don't know how to take an L. Frieza cannot sit up there and take an L. Gohan sat up there and beat him when he was at 100%. People forgot about that. Goku sat up there and basically beat him twice, once at 100%, and then the second time when he was basically at 50%, literally because half of his body was basically going by the Destructo Disc he tried to use to take out Goku, and he just blasted him because Frieza just felt that he was stupid and superior. He was like, "Oh, you gave me this." Goku was like, "You gotta be kidding me, Frieza, you fool!" And you know, took him out. What else can I sit up there? I would say, even though it's not canon, movie wise, I feel like the biggest L that they gave to Vegeta was when he was afraid of Broly, and I think Piccolo had to pick him up and carry him to the fight or something. I forgot what it was. Like, he was just standing there shook. I'm like, this can't be Vegeta. I'm like, this dude literally came in and he was basically beating everybody during like the Saiyan saga. There was nobody that could stand up to him. If Goku didn't have the Kaioken during that time, everybody would have been done. If Vegeta would have controlled that planet, it just would have been done. He would have controlled that planet, and he probably would have taken a hold of Gohan, or whatever. Like, that would have been a way different Gohan, but also that would have been a way weaker Vegeta as well too, because he wouldn't have went through so many defeats and so many upgrades. Because it's Vegeta. He has that same superiority complex as Frieza. Only difference is Vegeta and Piccolo are master strategists and tacticians, and Frieza is a naturally gifted genius of a child, for all intents and purposes. Because I think, what was it, in Super, Frieza only trained for about a few months in a hyperbolic time chamber on a different planet, and he immediately got gold. And then after that, not gold, he immediately upgraded to Black Frieza. Crazy work. Crazy work. But like I said, that one's, it's not really, canon in a sense. But also, it's hard to say when Vegeta takes L's, because the maker of Dragon Ball Z did not like Vegeta. Kira Toriyama, I think his favorite character was Piccolo, I think, and I do like Piccolo as well too. But I'm like, you got a lot of people that happen to hate Vegeta, which is crazy to me. Because if you look at or encompass all of the character development in Dragon Ball Z, by far, Vegeta has the greatest growth as a character and character development. If you gauge from the Saiyan saga all the way until now. Even if you look at the past stories and when they show you like Planet Vegeta and everything like that, that's huge character development. He went to just like hating and not caring about anything to literally having a family and actually having a type of humanity, in a sense, about him and different things like that. And the funniest thing is, I would dare to say that Vegeta cares more about his family than Goku does. Because if you go back to the Goku Black arc, the story was basically told on how Goku Black basically formed, right? And how he took that form of Goku, and then how he basically eradicated Goku's family. Did all of that, right? Goku didn't really blow up about that. When Beerus sat up there and smacked Bulma, it was just like a light tap, but it was still, strong. As just knocked her unconscious and all the other type of stuff. Vegeta was about to upgrade to, I'm not even sure if he was even close at that time to maybe like going to like 3, but his eyes went white and he was just in a rage. And what's the name? Had to calm him down real quick because Beerus was actually getting agitated. Whenever Beerus is getting agitated instead of having fun, that means that somebody is becoming a problem. And this is why later on in the series, you got, Goku, I guess, for all intents and purposes, he's closer on like the angel side of things where he got the ultra instinct, and Vegeta is more on the god of destruction wise where he has ego. Even though Vegeta actually had an upgrade during the Moro arc where he has an ability where he can attack his opponent and basically pull energy directly out of their body. It's almost like a spirit bomb. Like it's some cool stuff that they actually do. But anyways, I'm talking too much on that. That's just, Oh yeah, that's what it is. Hackstead, Cruising USA, Revolution X, The Simpsons, and Lethal Forces. Yeah. Yep. Killer Instinct, Terminator 2, Revolution X, Streets of Rage. Funny enough, I got Streets of Rage on Xbox. PC advantage is real. Ping alone gives them an advantage. No, it does. It does. It's a little bit difficult to, in a sense, like work with. But again, PC players can be beaten. They're not invincible. I done fought PC players on console, and they can catch hands. They can get dusted. Like I said, the greatest match I ever had, I wish it was recorded. I was Borog. It was Street Fighter 4. I was Borog, and I fought somebody that was like lag switching with E Honda. And I beat the mess out of them. Beat them to sleep. And if anybody knows about charge characters, it's down forward or up down, things of that nature. So yeah, all he kept trying to do was headbutt, and he kept trying to, sit directly on me. That was it. And I beat the mess out of him, even with the lag switch. It was looking like a flip book directly out there. But it only took me about close to 10 seconds to adapt to that situation. Because I'm using a charge character. I'm like, this is a dream for me right now. It's like it's telegraphing your moves. I got you, no problem. I'm just gonna put stuff in ahead of time. Got you, no problem. Like I said, it's easy work out here. But like I said, PC players, cheat in a multitude of ways. Michael said, Grand Theft Auto 5 advertises a hack site in the chat. That's crazy. D Money says, squeeze that extra bit of life out in those batteries. Bars. Michael said, if you knew a kid with rechargeable batteries, it was a total flex. Yeah, that's facts. Said the PlayStation greatest hits games were like $20. Yep. Rabbit says Zoo Tycoon. I remember that. Zoo Tycoon on PC was such a hard game. Keeping those customers happy was difficult. Yeah. Yo, JJ, what is up? What is up? Said using the analog to using that analog to the analog don't snap back anymore. Wait. Oh yeah. I got you talking about the PlayStation controllers. Yeah. Namor said, fun fact, but the Seiji PS1 controllers were the only ones that didn't break because they were actually made in Japan. The ones after that were made in China. But the funniest thing is, I was playing PlayStation back. The first game that we had was Ape Escape, right? So you had like the little kid, he had the net, and then you had the monkeys with the alarms directly, on their head and stuff. I went through those controllers. Those DualShock controllers, the ones that you're talking about, were so faulty. This was the main problem that I had with PlayStation back in the day, and the reason why I still have a problem with PlayStation now. Their controls are so faulty that if that DualShock started to short out or started to mess up, your whole controller was done. That controller was inoperable. It was not usable. You couldn't do nothing with it. You had to go back out there and spend $40, right? So the thing I started doing was I went in the controller and I took out the motors for the analog. After you took out the motors for the analog, you can still use the controller, but the problem was still with PlayStation. They were like, okay, well, maybe your controller was broken. You got to buy a new one. But if your controller still operated, it was still fully functional. But if you didn't have the analog, you didn't have that rumble feature working, guess what? You couldn't play those games because you have a lot of games that were on PlayStation 1 during that time that required the rumble feature during that time. So like I said, it was some crazy work. They were making money hand over fist, during that point in time. People don't want to point that out. Sony was really trying to game people back then for everything. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. Hacks into Lake said Frieza being Frieza. If you're talking about the one where Frieza was they went through and they were calling people like monkeys and whatnot, I actually used that in a video. In one of the videos that we I think both the live stream and in a normal video that I did, I had put that in there. Dealing with because Frieza is basically quote unquote a slave master. He was in control over the monkeys, aka black people and stuff like that, yada yada yada, all that good stuff. Because I can't click it because I'm directly on StreamYard. So I'm just guessing. Michael said, I think Vegeta's best moment was beating on Burroughs after he slapped Bulma. Yeah, that was cold. D Money said Vegeta being scared of Broly was embarrassing. It was 100%. Pink said, hey, what did I miss? Not much. Went over a few videos that we had directly up there. And I think how many videos? How many clips? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About like 9 different clips. And then I also read from a book. And, it ran into about like, one good troll. And I think Mo sent him to the Shadow Realm, and he was never seen or heard from ever again, at least for this live stream. And then after that, we started talking about, video games, which is, while we got the state of play just up there, because I wanted to have a tag up there just in case anybody who ended up listening or staying through the live stream was trying to figure out what is this about or why are we talking about this right now. So pretty much. And I think adding people on the Switch, let me just make sure did I get like another what's the name directly up here? I don't think, did I get another? Let me see. Online invites. Yeah, I don't got no invites. Suggestions. Receive requests. Let me just check. Make sure. Yeah, we are clear directly on that one. You know what? I actually forgot. Also, for anybody who got the Switch, I do have the Star Wars shooter along, which is free, and also got Fire Emblems. But no, Fire Emblems isn't multiplayer though. I forgot. And also do got Tetris, F-Zero 99, Mario Kart Deluxe, Smash Brothers, which I haven't played in years. I did have Zoids, but that was from the Japanese store. What is this old game up here? I got ARMS and Street Fighter 2 Ultra. I think I had that because of one of the Street Fighters that was coming out, but it was so long ago I can't even forget. I can't even remember. Rabbit said, nah, that with Broly wasn't fair. Imagine a Christian actually seeing Satan in an environment where nobody heard of him. I mean, yeah, that but it's like, but he knew of the quote unquote legendary Super Saiyan. They heard stories of it and whatnot. So just saying. D Money said you watch Vegeta gain emotional intelligence. Yeah, like that man. It was a lot of growth. Hack said, LOL. Hack said, random question: could S Moon beat the toughest person in DBZ? Wait, S Moon, who's that? I'm a little bit confused. I don't even know who that is. I'm just gonna be real. Not even gonna lie to you. I don't even know who S Moon is. Gotta inform me. Matter of fact, let me. Oh wait, are you talking about Sailor Moon? Oh dear God, we're doing this. Oh my God. Because Sailor Moon beat the toughest person in DBZ. If I remember correctly, during one of the fights that they had before, for like the final villain of Sailor Moon in that movie, all of the Sailor Scouts, they actually died, if I remember correctly. I think they died, and I think Sailor Moon was like the last one. And I'm not sure if they helped power her up or whatever it was, but she was able to defeat like that villain or whatever. I'm not sure if everybody got revived or how that basically worked, but I think I remember them actually like dying and stuff. So yeah, I'm not you said not a crackhead, just wondering. No, I don't. No, Sailor Moon is strong, but no, I don't. Nah. Especially like let's say if it comes to like a lot of these the villains, nah. Like if you put Sailor Moon versus like Kid Buu, nah, that's not the power of love is not helping you there. Kid Buu is just gonna beat the love up out of you. Like you don't even care. Like yo, you got like Kid Buu would sit up there and teleport to like different places. Like, oh, you sat up there and left. Let me sit up there and figure out where you are. About instant transmission. This dude would sit up there and teleport to hell, beat people. He would sit up there and teleport to the Kai's planet and beat them. Like he just did not care. He was a menace. That dude was just out there. I would actually like to say that I feel like Kid Buu was actually worse than Broly. Broly just had like one focus. Like he just like, for the old Broly, the original, he was just angry because Goku was crying, aka Kakarot. He was, crying in the crib. And that just drove Broly crazy. He couldn't sit up there and, really get no sleep. And that was the main thing that stuck with him. So he saw Goku later on, remembered, and he was like, Kakarot. Like, I don't know why, he was talking like the Incredible Hulk. It was some crazy stuff, crazy work. But yeah, it was something. Yeah. It's crazy work. Just gonna skip over that one. Rabbit says, Seiji, did you watch Fire Force? There's 2 black characters in season 2. No, I've seen Fire Force. The funniest thing is, Officer Haku, well, he's at work. He's probably like on a dock somewhere, but he had an anime channel called like the Anime Drop Spot, if I remember correctly. And he would talk about anime. He talked about Fire Force and and all of those things. And I started actually watching, Fire Force. Fire Force is actually dope. Fire Force is pretty dope. The thing that gets nerve wracking when it deals with Japanese anime is when you got characters that are as dark as me, right? And I'm not saying like I'm the darkest person in the room, but they're as melanated or as dark as me, and they sit up there and say like, that character's they're not black, they're just sunburned or they're just tanned. I'm like, what are we doing here? I'm like, no, we're not doing this. Like, what was it? Like they used to have Sunburn Sakura and Evil Ryu. Anytime that anybody went evil, like Akuma, their skin was dark. Akuma got dark skin. Evil Sakura or Tan Sakura, Suntan, Sunburn Sakura, she got dark skin. Evil Ryu, dark skin. Crazy work. Even Violent Ken. That man had, if anybody played SNK, SVC Chaos, if you ever played that game or had the luxury of playing that game, Violent Ken was actually pretty dope. But Violent Ken had the whitest fro. He had the largest and the whitest fro known to man, or I guess you could say blonde. And his skin was dark. I'm like, you have to be kidding me. I'm like, so as soon as this dude gained some type of power over everybody else, he automatically turned black. I'm like, word? That's what we're doing, Ken Masters? This dude is coming from a rich, wealthy family. You start off with, like blonde, long locks, with your red gi on, and then you turn evil by way of, M. Bison, and it's just that. Like, Ken is now black. It's crazy work. Crazy work. Michael said no one in that entire story was given actual god powers, period. Yes. Wait. What story are we talking about? Sailor Moon or Fire Force or whatnot? D Money says Sailor Moon would squad wipe everything in DBZ. I just I see the laughing emoji, but I feel like you're serious. This is why we have a very great game called Mugen. If anybody was on PC, Mugen was a fighting game. It was basically Fortnite before Fortnite. It was the only game in existence where you got a roster of 1,000 characters from all over, including Ronald McDonald versus Freddy Krueger. Crazy work directly out there. Pink said the vision of Escaflowne was a good series. Oh yeah, Escaflowne was dope. That was dope too. Ty said I'm back. Rivals was garbage. Wait, you talking about Marvel Rivals? D Money said Ken was a menace. Yeah, he was. The funniest thing is people tend to forget like Ken is actually I want to technically say Ken is actually like stronger than Ryu. And the reason I'm going to sit up there and state this because if anybody actually goes back and watches the movie where M. Bison actually brainwashed Ken, he fully brainwashed Ken, and he had him fight Ryu. Ryu was having some problems. He was having some problems. Ken was this was like unbridled Ken, like that man was on him. And I'm like, huh. I'm like, so y'all made Ryu pretty much the main character, the god of all gods, right? But then when Ken gets brainwashed and he's just out there just like fighting, people getting that work. I'm like, huh. And then it got so bad that after I think the brainwashing was like worn off, and you had Ken, I think Ryu had to charge up a Hadouken, and he needed some time. I think it was was it a Shinku Hadouken? I forgot what it was. But Ken went to go fight in Bison, and Bison was having problems. He was like, "Oh, nah, we ain't even sit up. I just brainwashed you. This was like, bro, I'm breaking your legs, and I'm sending you, off over a hill or whatnot or whatever." And he did that. So then, that Hadouken got like charged up, and he got, hit directly, with it. Of course, he survived. You also got the other movie where they had Birdie was there. I think Sakura was there, and Ken, aka Vegeta, he had his moment when he did the Shin Shoryu Reppa, and you just saw like Ken. He basically was like powering up for like his ultimate move, and you saw him basically walking towards this dude who sucked up all the fighting knowledge and energy from every single fighter into this one body. And Ken was like, you know what? I'm about to just put it all on the line. I'm about to just like power up. You saw him like slightly like bulk up on some Super Saiyan 2 type of deal. Went up there, saw the flames basically engulf. He said the move, and he looked down. He's like, "That's all I got." I'm like, and this dude is still left standing. Damn. But it was because the dude was a cheater because he was able to, absorb and stuff. So, it was some crazy work. I really just hate how they made Birdie look and whatnot, but Birdie was also from the UK, so I don't feel so bad. Even though I did technically like Birdie as a character, but I didn't like. It's just, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know, but yeah. Let me just read the comments. Let me see. Ty said our Hulk / Punisher went 9-28 with 9K damage and blamed us supports, saying he wasn't getting it. See, this is I'll tell you this for anybody out here that's a gamer. I normally play support on any game that I try to get on that's a multiplayer. I normally try to play a backup character or support or whatnot or whatever, because I know support I don't care what nobody says, out of every game possible that's multiplayer, support is the most hated role ever in existence, because everybody wants to always run DPS, and then when the DPSers can't do what it is that they want to sit up there and do, they're always going to try to fall back and blame somebody. Like, oh, I wasn't getting heals. Our guardian wasn't doing this. Our guardian wasn't. I'm like, dog, stop running out there like a dummy. Like, nobody tells you to just. Well, with Punisher, he can set up two different ways because he got like his little turret set up that he can just do. He got the one where he can carry like War Machine, then the other one he can just set up shop. Like I said, people who play DPS, y'all get on my nerves. I'm just gonna be honest, and this is coming from somebody who main support. Y'all get on my nerves, because y'all never want to be responsible for dumb actions. I can type in chat, or I can do voice calls, and I can sit up and tell people like, yo, stop pushing. You're getting out of range of my support. Or if I'm playing a tank and I built tank, right? You're sitting up there going beyond my shield, or you're going in front of me. Again, you're DPS. You can sit up there and fly around corners, maneuver, U-turn, all this other type of stuff. Usually tanks don't have that maneuverability, right? So every single time a tank or a healer is doing something that they're supposed to do, and all the DPS is like, oh, it's the reason that we lost is because we didn't have proper healers. If we didn't have proper healers, how about this? If you're a DPS and you always like to blame the healers that fall, how about you swap roles? How about you actually go out there and be a healer? But you're not going to do that. You're not going to do it because you find it to be boring, and you don't want to, in a sense, be a support character. You don't want to be a Robin to somebody's Batman. You don't want to do none of that. You want to be the all-star because, oh, I'm about to show everybody that I got this great build and I can deal all of this damage and da-da-da-da-da. But then once your build fails, you want to turn around and blame the supports. That's some crazy work. That's some diabolical crazy work. That's ridiculous. I actually have some matches of Smite, which is a MOBA, a game that I played. And I think I had some recordings of some chats that where, of course I had videos called Smite Racism and, and different things like that, where I actually went over the replays that I had as Vulcan during the time of original Smite was a Guardian. You also had Kumbhakarna and, and different things like that. So trust me, I 100% understand what you're stating when it deals with being a Guardian and or a support character. I mean, a support character. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. Crazy work. Oh man. And then the crazy part is the Hulk has the ability to basically Hulk out. So it's not only does he just have his normal form, but he can just get larger, sort of like Broly, which is crazy. And even with that, which gives a little bit of extra health, sort of the same thing that Venom can in a sense do, people still want to blame the healers. It's like, dog, pop whatever heal or shields that you got, and you need to back up and retreat so that you can either catch a heal somewhere on the map or allow the healer to actually heal you. If you're ducking and dodging and swooping in and out, like it's nothing we can sit up there and do. There's nothing we can do. A lot of times, if I happen to play a healer, I will let the DPS go as far as they want to do, go far beyond the horizon. Right, go as far as you want to sit up there and go, and I will sit up there and watch them die. And I'm like, well, that's you. No, nobody told you to do that. Nobody told you to jump into a 1v5. Who told you to do that? You know exactly specifically where the circle is, where the point is, and you know that everybody's responding after getting wiped. But you want to sit up there and try to be Superman. You want to try to be Captain Planet, and you think that you're about to do something crazy. It's crazy work. Crazy work. I feel like I'm about to just go into like a huge game rant at this moment in time. Rabbit said, have you already seen the Rick Sanchez versus Vegeta fight from Favorite Soul? No, I ain't seen that yet. I have not seen that yet. Ty said, so yeah, I just said, F it, I'm done. Yeah, I get that. Trust me, I 100% I get that. Like I said, even when let's say a game such as, I think everybody here, if you're a gamer, you play Division or Division 2, I would normally try to sit up there and even play support in there. I would either have a shield or I would have a healing station. And I would try to have some weapons that can also help to, buff up those heals or give directly, more heals to the teams and different stuff. Like I said, I tried doing it all in a lot of these games. And especially if you have a game where you have to work on or you have to put on a specific build, when everybody who is DPS is falling behind or they can't deal out their damage, people will be like, oh, let me look at the screen real quick. Let me look at somebody's build. Oh, Guardian, why do you have this item on? That's not actually a proper or good item for you to have. You're a tank. Why would you sit up there and build damage? And I'm like, well, I'm going to build damage because for whatever reason, our greatest of supports or assassins on the team can't seem to kill somebody who has 2 health left. So because I can sit up there and tank and do hits, I can just run up there, do a 1 or a 3 real quick, and then shoot my ult, and I can capture that kill. I don't see what the problem is. But like I said, people just want to throw blame around instead of blaming themselves. I didn't have stuff like this happen on Smite where somebody played Loki and they did 9k damage. That is horrendous. When it deals with Smite and when it deals with the guys on that game, if you are a physical only pulling 9k damage, I need you to uninstall. I need you to never pick up and play that game ever again. You're trash. You are just never touch the sticks ever again. Just go play like Roblox. Go play anything. Right? Go play some badminton. Whatever it is, I don't even care. Some checkers. Go do anything else but that game. Just gonna be real. Just saying. Not to be an elitist, but just saying. Michael said Ken is definitely faster than Ryu. Yep. Ken was giving Ryu the blues in that movie. That is facts. Ty said, I told him we can't heal stupid. Stop rushing in. That's bars. Michael said, you're speaking gaming geek Seji. Yeah, I am. And this is why I try not to go on rants. Because it's like, yo, there's so many things over the years that I've seen that I'm like, oh my God. It's crazy. And like, yo, I'll put it to you like this. Even when it deals with like Call of Duty, some of you guys like Hack and Ty, Tippy Gale, and a few others of y'all here, y'all see me play Call of Duty, even though they clown me when I play like Vanguard. But you know, if I show like one of the classic replays that I have from like, I think it should have been like Modern Warfare 2 or 3, where I think I went like 82, or what was it, like 82 and like 4 or 82 and 8. Like I had some almost had like close to 100. And this was me just using the shotgun. Everybody else got like snipers, they got submachine guns, assault rifles, even riot shields. I'm sitting up there pulling through with a shotgun. And that it just wipe it feels. Like I said, I love using shotguns. It's up close and personal. If I kill you and you got a sniper, that's on you. You got an assault rifle, the AK-47, XRMB, whatever it is, and you got the best shotgun or SMG or whatever in the game, and I kill you, you're trash. I'm just letting you know. Because it just shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be, you know. Just saying. You say you sent me the scoreboard. Oh, you must have sent that on Discord. Must have sent it on Discord. And this is why even when y'all happen to see me play one of these days, Pokemon Unite, I'm going to have my build, and it's not going to be Gardevoir this time. I got a whole nother character that a whole nother Pokemon I just found out about, and I'm like, yo, this character actually seems pretty dope. My funny thing is, on that game, the next character next Pokemon I will be playing on Unite will be Ho-Oh. One of the legendary birds. So you know, you had Articuno, Zapdos, Ho-Oh, and then you had I was about to say Lucario. That's not one of the birds. I think it was like LU. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, that was another one directly up there. But yeah, I be pulling out damage. Some instances I would have upwards to about 15 or 20 kills. I think the highest damage I've pulled on Pokemon Unite with one of my characters has been like 122k damage. Like crazy work. And in certain instances, I would be able to actually do a 1v3 or even like a 1v4 in some instances, depending on what the enemy team comp is. And like I said, I don't really know the what characters are strong or not. Realistically, I just go on characters that I actually like or that I can do pretty well with, depending on my play style. And again, I don't really go for, well, technically in this one, I would say I would play more so DPS, I guess, versus actually playing support, because they do have some support Pokemon that I do, you know, like and whatnot. Why am I on messages? I'm supposed to be going to Discord. Now I gotta wait for this to start up. D-Money said, I go through that on Smite. Stop going off by yourself, being thirsty for kills and blame. Yo, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. So we got another Smite player. So you know what I'm talking about. Like, I've had this instance because I played Smite since about like 2013, 2014, back on PC, before they brought it over to console. And I would either originally, again, Vulcan was originally a tank. I would also use Hades, who originally was a tank. And then later on, I started, you know, using Kumbhakarna and stuff like that. So you would have people that would have Artemis, and they felt that automatically they could just start running up. And the original Artemis, she didn't have movement speed. She didn't have no type of like getaway, no nothing. She was just like a truck that could hit. That's it. Right. So later on, when newer gods came out, people were trying to use the exact same builds. Of course, we went through the item changes. They took out focus, which was terrible. They took out focus and all this other type of stuff. So they had newer items in there, and they found, you know, other crit builds and stuff where people are still carrying on the same exact way that the norm can do with physical characters. So you will see things like a Artemis just rolling out there into the fray, try to like 1v4, You would see like Hu Yi try to do the exact same thing, you know, ping ponging, you know, shots, you know, directly across, and you would see Thor's, and I'm like, what are y'all? You would even have instances, and you know, you got AO, or like I like to call him AO Quang, that would appear and disappear, and he would decide to try to like teleport in between and do like a 1v3. I'm like, dude, you're smoking rocks. I'm like, you literally sat up there and teleported. You used 2 of your teleports, went to enemy territory. I can't sit up there and catch up because we don't have boots. We don't really have movement speed builds like we used to. And now you're going to sit up there and get dusted because all of your stuff is on cooldown. You more than likely didn't build cooldown, nor can you sit up there and output the amount of DPS that you need, and or nor do you even have the life still built in order to, you know, realistically do a 1v3 and you know, try to get out while your moves are on cool. Like it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking. Like I said, I try not to go on these rants because I will go on. I could go on these rants for hours. D Money said Division was fire. Yeah, they also got, be on the lookout for Division 3. So they are working on a Division 3 that's going to come at a point in time. I'm not sure when. It's probably going to be like 2026, possibly, and maybe in 2025 we might see something a little bit later on. Mr. Stack Racks, what is up? What's up? Said you play Assassin's Creed. I haven't played that in a while. I do got it, I think, for free because it was on Game Pass or whatnot or whatever, or something or other, but I haven't played it in a minute. But I do plan on getting a brand new Assassin's Creed, and I also heard that Black Flag will have a sequel that they're working on at this moment in time. Rabbit said, I don't understand people who super grind or speed run a game that's out less than half a day. Did you even enjoy the story? I mean, some people are able to do it because they're good at, you know, speed running, because I know that is a small segment of people where they have competitions, you know, directly for that. Now for me, depending on the type of game, I don't speed run. I mostly take my time. But if, like, let's say Elden Ring, when it was time to play like a mage, I was in there. I was in those Elden Ring streets for about 30 days plus straight. I had my mage, I had my staff. I was using the rock spell again. I didn't know tier list for a lot of these things when the game first came out, and I found out about stuff up in, you know, later. And even with the nerfs and everything that they did, those rocks, I was Magneto with those rocks. I was defeating everything, even like the end boss. I'm still throwing rocks directly out there, like, you know, I was there. So, you know, some dope stuff. Ash said, I be playing Pokemon Leisure online. I'm level 12. I see people who are like level 35 and 60 on the first day. Oh yeah. Those are the people that are like, they're like dirty when it comes to games. Like they're just in the streets. They're not taking showers. They're not doing nothing. They are just heavy grinding a lot of those games and whatnot. Technically, I could be like that, you know, every now and again. Depending on when it comes to those games, like when Division 2 came out, I was grinding heavy. I was in those streets, and even like Division 1, I was in those streets. I was especially in the dark zone. I was there. Ty said I didn't send it. Get off Discord. Oh wait, you say you did send it or you didn't send it? What is that? Kim Jong-un as Ash Ketchum? Wow. That's crazy, looking at Ash's mom look like that. That's crazy. If he tried to escape racism by living in anime, oh yeah. Oh, that's gonna be bad. I'm gonna sit up to watch that off stream. That's gonna be funny. That is gonna be funny. D Money said facts, then spam chat to help. Like, bruh. Yeah, and dude, the funniest thing is I would have to go through racism even on that, and I'm like, you don't even know who's even talking behind the screen. Like, they'll just randomly start saying stuff. I wish I had it recorded. There was a few matches of Call of Duty that I did have recorded where you would just hear white boys just like, if they were getting beat, like I'm talking about by me, and I'm primarily using like the shotgun, you would just hear the racism just flying free. So this is why I laugh whenever it is that I have people roll up to this live stream and they try to sit up there and tell me that racism isn't prevalent. this isn't the past, then everybody's all nah. Because when I hear your kids online, when they want to start sending those in-game chats and those messages, nah, that racism is alive and well. Y'all be lying. Because like I said, let a lot of black gamers come out here and start speaking on the type of racism they got to deal with and handle online. Like I said, it'll shut down a lot of this stuff. It'll shut down a lot of this. And like I said, and the racism become from everybody. I didn't set up there and be called stuff from like Latins directly out here, white people, Asian, all of that. And I'm like, man, that's some crazy work out here. I'm like, wow, y'all really like that? Man. Wait until I see y'all don't be in this next game though. Because I'm like, I'm about to be using Dragon's Breath on this shotgun. We're gonna reach out and touch. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Going to happen. Hack said, I hate to admit it, but oh snap, drop my headphones. Said I hate to admit it, but when I was playing Battlefield 2 and World of Warcraft, I did a few all-nighters. Bathing is optional. It'd be like that. Like I said, it'd be like that. Like you'll be sitting there for hours grinding. Trust me, when I was playing Modern Warfare 2, like all those Modern Warfares, trying to, finally get my first prestige and get my first gun go. Oh yeah. It's like that. It'd be like that. You'll be on there when the game first came out, and next thing you know, it's like 12 p.m. in the afternoon. 12 p.m. You would have thought it was still nighttime by how it was that you was playing. But like I said, it'd be like that. Trust me, I've been there. That's what I did when I played Halo 3. I beat that bad boy on Legendary by the time 12. What was it? I wish I still had the game case because I had everything written down. Halo 3, I remember beating that when it first came out. And I think it was like, it should have been Christmas Day. And it was around 12 p.m. because I remember my mom was cooking. And I remember the small tube TV that I had on the fireplace, and I beat that game. I remember when I sat up there and beat that. But yeah, it'd be like that, man. It'd be like that. You said, I'm glad those days are over. It ain't never over. It ain't never over, man. Just wait until it's a game that you really love and like. You'll end up going right back through that again. Ty said, I did that when Ninja Storm 3 came out. Me and my coworkers would do tournaments. Oh, yeah. That's what me and my friends used to do. Like, yo, let me tell you, me and my friend Big Mike, when he used to live in Romulus, it was a Nintendo Wii, and we had just got the brand new Smash Brothers that came out. We went to a midnight release. And that's rare. A lot of the new generation don't even know what a midnight release is because those died out a long time ago. That died out along with like E3 in the arcades, right? So we went to a midnight release at a GameStop in a mall, and we got Smash. That was back in the day when people used to actually film the midnight releases, right? We walked out, we got some food, went back to his house. We everybody spent the night over there because we were sitting up there playing the game and eating. And while everybody was asleep, I stayed up until from the day that we got ready to meet up with him, from the time that we were there for the midnight release and then traveled to his house. I stayed up from that day prior all the way up until almost like 2 p.m. in the AI, the computer versus player match in order to unlock the characters. And I think I had the whole roster unlocked. I think the last character I was trying to unlock, I think it should have been like Sonic or something. But yeah, trust me, when it's games that like I really just like love, it feels like Christmas. It's like you just can't go to sleep. It's just like, it's that, I guess you could say like the little kid that's there that in a sense just like keeps you like up or something like that. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a few times recently, like Elden Ring, that things like that have taken place. You said we will take a break, go eat, shower, stretch, and then hop right back on. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Ty said, oh yeah, where that one? Yeah. Ash says, Seiji, is there any fictional characters that inspired you to work out or body goals? The filler episode of Goku in space training was my motivation, but the future character Ben 10,000 was body goals. Was there a character that I wanted to like work out? I think for me, the character would have been Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I think that was like the main thing, because I'm like, yo, Gohan, like, because you watch Gohan basically develop and everything like that, and then when he sat up there and like fought Cell, I'm like, that's Gohan. I'm like, bro, like this man got like a full on like six pack, got like definitions, and I'm like, this is child Gohan. I'm like, well, this is teen Gohan. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I'm like, that I gotta sit up there and start working out. But the craziest thing is, when you're in a sense standard, because originally I think, what was I during that time? I was consistently in between like the 130 to 135 range. So for a lot of people out there, that's light, or some people like to say like a $130, right? So if you're that light, you don't, as soon as you do like a few workouts, you could do, let's say, about like 50. Let me see. How can I set up and put it? You can do about probably like 150 push-ups. And I'm not saying like all at once. You do 150 like push-ups, you'll start seeing definition like instantly. You'll start seeing results. That's the crazy part. When it's like you got barely any body fat directly on you, any little bit of workout that you do, even if it's just like playing basketball or something, you'll immediately start seeing results. You'll immediately start seeing definition. That's the craziest thing. But the heavier, the more weight that you have, the more work that you have to do in order to have those muscles actually, show through. Crazy work, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Because I for me, I really didn't sit up there and work out. It was just, for the most part, that I naturally just had like I was, in a sense, I guess you could say, lean or something like that, in between the 130 to 140 type of range. Ty said, and let me not bring up MK9. Oh yeah, Ty said we would say, or as future. Oh yeah. I know who you talking about, the future version of Ben. Yeah, future version of Ben was dope. That dude was dope, and then he was able to use his powers without the Omnitrix. Like that dude was just it, and then he had some other powers with that as well too. He was cold. He was cold. P said, I did that when Resident Evil 5 came out. I literally did everything I needed to do, then locked myself in my room playing it, and ended in 3 days. See, that's what I'm talking about. Shout out to Pink. This is what I'm talking about. Real female gamers directly out here. They know. And I'm not saying that female gamers gotta go to the same extents, but I'm just saying that's some gamer stuff right there. That's some real gamers. Shout out to Pink. Shout out to the other female gamers directly out here that are about that life. And also every now and again, Pink does stream on Twitch, just in case if anybody is interested. She does stream video. I'm not sure when's the last time, because I've been off of everything for a moment, just pretty much just trying to focus in on content and doing live streams here for quite a minute on both channels. But yeah, Pink does stream along with a few other people here too. Stream as well too. So just throwing that and putting that directly out there. But yeah, like I said before, at the moment in time, we will actually have some video games popping up on this channel. We're just going to sit there and do it. Especially if we happen to have like 40 to 30 people that are actually interested. We are good. I would technically rather do it on Twitch, I guess, but Twitch is a little bit weird sometimes, and I know a lot of people don't happen to like Twitch or use Twitch, so whichever whichever it is. But yes, that is currently it. We've actually been going for about a good 3 hours and 22 minutes. I want to give a shout out, much love, respect, and appreciation to any and everybody that's been here for the longest time possible. And anybody who has donated to the live stream by way of Cashapp, Patreon, became a member, or donated directly through by way of super chats as well. Again, this channel will have a multitude of content directly up here, hopefully that people will enjoy, on top of of course, doing the normal video live streams that I just happen to do. Shout out to Hack, because I just saw like the notification just pop there. Hack said gamer fuel. I haven't even had that in a while. Have I even taken gamer fuel? I don't think I actually had gamer fuel. The main things that I used to do, the original Red Bull, I used to drink that, And I used to drink something called Jolt Cola. I'm not sure if anybody else knows about that, but Jolt Cola is actually pretty good. And I was able to, use that for the times that I stayed up because it was caffeine rich, and things of that nature. And I would especially get that if I was going to Burger King and I got like a triple Whopper meal with the Sunday during that time and whatnot. So, it's classic. I mean, they do actually still make Jolt Cola. They still do make it. I just haven't bought it in a long time. Namor X said, I'll be locked to your Elden Ring live stream of the new DLC. Oh no, it's not even it's not even new DLC. It's a fully separate game and it's multiplayer. Like it's actually pretty dope. But I'll sit up there and I'll stream it when I happen to get it. Like some of the newer games that I get, because I'm pretty bad with doing this. Like I'll say that I'll stream and then I'll forget about it because I'll be locked in playing the game and that's it. And I won't be like focused on nothing else. So yeah, I might as well just kill two birds with one stone. If I don't happen to throw out stories, y'all will see me streaming directly on the game and y'all can just like reminisce and talk and chat and, bring up different topics and, stuff like that. Just to be able to relax, take a quick reprieve from, a lot of the things directly out there. Hack said, I remember Jolt. You know who else remembers Hack? Petridge Farm remembers. Let me tell you. Like I said, when I get everything set up for the stream and stuff, it's gonna be dope. I'm gonna be out there like Officer Haku, having a stream deck and everything. I think Miss Anderson, I don't think Lacavia is actually here at this moment in time, but I think she has does she got the streamer deck? I forgot. I would actually have to ask her. It's been a minute, but yeah. So hopefully Tippy will actually make it directly in there. She probably won't. She'll probably be late as normal because I don't even think Tippy even showed up today. As a matter of fact, I'm quite disappointed. And she is a Sony girl, as a matter of fact. But yeah, much love and respect to everybody who stayed here and listened to all 44 people, 13 from the original channel, 27 on the secondary channel. Thank you guys for everything that you do, and staying tuned and also going through the commercials. That is the main way that we are able to make it here directly on this channel, on both channels, as a matter of fact. So thank you guys. Rabbit said, I miss Street Pass and Spot Pass from Nintendo. I don't even know what that is. I'll tell you the main thing that I do miss. That was one of my favorite games on Nintendo, at least dealing with the Wii Sports. I love the music and I also love playing Wii Bowling. That was one of my favorite games on Wii Sports. Actually, Wii Bowling and the boxing. Like when you talk about getting tired from playing a game, yeah, that would give you some cardio. So like I said, shout out to Nintendo for making a game system from where everybody from 0 to 99 could literally play it. It was, like I said, crazy work. Crazy work. Also, I do plan on getting some games on the Switch as well too. One of them is the TMT game that they got on there. That's a roguelike. So, like I said, I got a lot of stuff I'll bring up here because it's easier to, in a sense, do. You said when isn't Tippy late? I don't know what to tell you. Well, back in the olden days of the channel during the pandemic, Tippy was there like pronto, like on time. She was there. Sometimes she'd be like the first person directly in the chat. She would be there, But yeah, again, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for listening and reminiscing. We'll have more of these types of conversations a little bit later on, where we'll just have fully, game anime type of streams. Also, as a matter of fact, I will, when I happen to see the brand new Captain America movie, I will do a review. I might do it in a live stream format. Just to get live, comments, and I'll do my best to make it as basic as possible to stay away from spoilers, so that not to spoil it for other people. So I'll give that a shot. Colorado, what is up? Said it's crazy, and this is the classic true American commentary that people like to pull up into the chat, since they can't put in those hashtags, not the hashtags, since they can't put in the links to the adult sites. People gotta leave crazy looking comments directly in here. Crazy work. You should be on the FBI watch list. Let me just tell you. Should be on there. But anyways, much love, respect, and appreciation, and I will catch you guys in the next live stream. Peace out.